The Pit Stall's Premier Series All-Star Race calls for the biggest, the baddest track of them all, the iRacing Super Speedway. Located in the very virtual state of Massachusetts, this 3-mile behemoth stands before these drivers who plan to test fate and bravery for 90 daunting circuits on, quite literally, the fastest speedway they've ever seen. The Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race is live on PitStop TV. Cole Freilich and I welcome you and thank you for tuning in this evening to PitStop TV. This should be a good one. Can't wait to get this one started. We're ready to take you flag to flag in this special presentation of the Pit Stall Premier Series. A big thank you goes out to all of those who made this one possible this evening. It's going to be fun as we get set to go for 90 laps at 240 plus miles an hour. Cole, you raced here recently in the Nork iRacing Series at this track in these cars at these blinding speeds. What are some of our keys to watch this evening?
I think some of the keys are going to be timing your runs. Timing a run here can be very important, and it could get you the win, as we saw Ashley Molino win that race. Basically just being right place, right time for her to get the run on Cody Miller and all them when Cody failed to make a good block and crashed. But that's another thing, blocking at this track. It is very sketchy. And if you are a car by yourself, you're going to be about 20 miles an hour slower than the cars behind you. We saw an incident, including myself, where a bad block was thrown and just unfortunate circumstance. And when you throw that block is going to be important. And I really think the biggest key is going to be to expect the unexpected at this racetrack.
Absolutely, this is a super speedway, much like Daytona, Talladega. Everybody knows those are kind of lotteries in their own way. Everybody knows the risks and also the rewards that come with those races. Expect much of the same here this evening. Again, as we get set to go for 90 laps. That's 270 miles here at the iRacing Super Speedway. This is, once again, the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race in the Pit Stall Premier Series. If you don't know the Pit Stall Premier Series, hey, neither did I this morning. Woke up this morning, had no idea these guys raced on iRacing, but they do. The Pit Stall started out as just a group of guys who wanted to get together, wanted to have some fun racing on iRacing, and eventually it turned into the league that they've got today. And now, of course, we're joining these guys for the first time here on PitStop TV. They're usually covered on Max Speed TV. Want to give a big shout out to them. I was watching through a lot of their coverage earlier today to get an idea of some of these guys, and also to set up this standings graphic. Derek Paulson comes in this evening, Cole, with the points lead. I also noticed in the rules for this series, think back to the NASCAR Winston Cup Series back in the 90s, back before the chase in 2004. Think back to that point system where you could earn 200 or more points for winning a race. Well, that's the point system on hand for these drivers. That's why, even before the overall playoffs and everything come into effect for these guys, that's why Derek Paulson's got over 2,000 points, and Michael Cohen 20th is over 1,000 points back. So it looks like some pretty drastic differences, Cole, but when you shrink it down, well, given the perspective of 200 points a race, when you shrink that down a little bit, bring it back to scale that we're used to today, it gets a lot closer.
Yeah, and I think if you're a guy like Greg Whelan or even Daniel Holloway there, both of those guys, that's really good for them, because that you see Daniel Holloway's only 209 points back, so that's a one race distance almost. And granted, this race is not for points, it's just for prizes and bragging rights for the most part, but that can definitely help these guys in the future races.
Yeah, you mentioned this race isn't for points. Thanks for doing so. This race not for points at all. Won't count against these drivers, nor will it count for them. But Cole, we've got a big list of prizes these drivers can race for this evening. A lot of them, if not most of them, if not darn near all of them, being provided so graciously by Fort Worth Screen Printing. The winner, actually the entire podium, so not just the race winner, but second place and third place as well, receive a t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing. First place, the race winner, also gains himself $250. That's a lot for a sim race, $250. $100 going to second and $50 going to third. The best paint scheme, as voted on by you fans at home. Yes, you fans at home in our broadcast chat, get to decide who has the best paint scheme here this evening. Not only do they, well, win the best paint scheme, I believe they'll get a shirt. If not, they are definitely getting either a butt kicker or a sequential shifter. That's up to the choice of the driver. Those both very, very cool prizes, Cole. The pole winner, they're also grabbing themselves a t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing. The driver with the fewest incidents, guess what? T-shirt. 4 random drivers will also get to choose between the remaining butt kicker and sequential shifter devices. Now, these guys have 2 butt kickers and 3 shifters to give away today. Again, one of those going to the driver by choice with the best paint scheme as voted on by you guys, the fans. The remaining devices, be it 1 butt kicker or 2 butt kickers or whatever it is, those will all go raffled off to 4 random drivers in the field this evening. But the really cool part that we get to bring to you guys is the fact that 5 of you guys, 5 random fans, will get a free t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing. Now, in order to be entered to win a free t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing, you have got to vote for your favorite paint scheme. Cole, what do you say we start checking out some of these paint schemes on the racetrack so far? Well, hey, this is a good one to start with. Kevin Freeze in that 25 car. That is a clear throwback. That is already going to be one of the favorites, I dare say, in the field. Daniel Holloway out here in his, what is that, Fruity Pebbles number 21. That already might be the one that takes my vote.
Yeah, that might be mine as well, but I'm looking at Jeffrey Clinton here on pit road, the number 15. You see the 11, that's a beautiful race car right there, along with the 09. The 11 car, though, that's actually Josh Berry's paint scheme from earlier Darlington this year. That throwback to Dale Jr.'s 2001 All-Star Game car. Beautiful paint scheme there, but the 15 on pit lane right now, a little bias here, but that is a striking color combo, so I wouldn't mind to see him in the running for that best paint scheme vote.
There's the 15 with Heatwave adorning the side of his car. I believe that's Heatwave Designs, if I'm not mistaken. That's a good-looking 15, I gotta say. We've got a few other drivers out here sporting some pretty cool paint schemes. There's Randy Bledsoe. He won one of the practice races as well, so watch out for this 81 car. And, of course, very fittingly, he's in a Dale Earnhardt Jr. paint scheme. In fact, kind of a throwback at this point, really. Doesn't feel like it, but a throwback to Dale Jr.'s Elvis paint scheme from years back. Charles Johnson, here's his number 09 Area 51 machine. We've got, I believe this will be David Cox there in the number 2 car. He's going to be displayed, though, as Hound Dog. How about that for a driver's name? Derek Paulson, he's out here, but we are heading into qualifying, so these drivers will step away from us momentarily. We'll get a look at some of these paint schemes, though, in qualifying. And again, you guys, the fans, you guys get to vote on your favorite paint schemes. What that does is enter you to win a t-shirt. 5 of you guys get a t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing. That is pretty darn cool. Here's Derek Paulson on the racetrack as he gets out there for his qualifying run. Kevin Freeze, we saw him. Here's Jerry Johnson in that 37 car. That one's bright. That one's going to be hard to miss.
Yeah, the Monster Energy car there of the 37 of Jerry Johnson. But I'm actually looking at Derek Paulson's car once again. That car is very wide. It's got pizza all over the front end. It's kind of making me hungry. And I'd already told you, Andrew, I was snacking right before we started here, but I may have to get a snack after we're done.
There's Paulson's machine. It's got a lot going on. I like that just because it's so crazy looking. A whole lot to look at there. Troy Radford is on the Speedway. There's his number 94. That one looks pretty good as well. Can't quite tell what's on the side of it, but that black and orange combination looks pretty good. So you see Dave Freeman out in the chat. He's directing you guys. He'll be holding the raffle here in a little bit. He's telling you guys, vote for the car number for your favorite paint scheme. We will check out a few more. Luke Gray's on the Speedway. Here's his number 29 Sinclair machine. That's a pretty cool one. Boy, I like those colors. They always looked good on Michael Sells paint schemes. The Sinclair colors just work so well on a race car. So there's the number 29 if you want to vote for it. Here's Richard Suddeth and his number 39. Carolina Simworks Ford Mustang rolling out onto the Speedway. I also see Anthony Poston working out there. Oh boy, that's going to be, I think, a favorite as well. The Good Smile number 31.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to beat. I was looking through here, and I can't remember which car. Oh, Anthony Bledsoe. He's got a really cool paint scheme here. I believe it's the Wounded Warrior Foundation. Very patriotic, really cool paint scheme to see out here.
There's that number 18. Yes, that one looks pretty good, especially just a little over, 2 weeks now after, if if even that long after Memorial Day. That's a pretty good one to see on Anthony Bledsoe's machine. But the other Bledsoe, let's see, he was out there as well. I think we saw the other Bledsoe's paint scheme as well. I gotta find him. Randy Bledsoe, there's the 81. Yep, so Randy Bledsoe, keep an eye out for those two, I'd say. Len McNeese out here in the 84 car, big throwback to Darrell Waltrip pretty clearly in that Western Auto number 84. Hilton Young also on the Speedway. Oh, he's got a face on a race car, Cole. That one's cool.
Yeah, we got plenty of faces. Doug Johnson with the throwback to the Intimidator himself, the number 3. That is Dale Earnhardt's paint scheme on that machine. Got Donald Stewart out here as well in the 78. Both of those cars clean and simple, but sometimes that gets the job done.
You know what? That 78 looks pretty good. It's pretty classy there on that Ford Mustang as Derek Paulson goes to the top of the board here in qualifying. Hound Dog moves on up to that number 3 position. Now, I saw this paint scheme on Facebook earlier today. It is a nod to Elvis as well. We'll have to get a better look at it throughout the evening as time goes on. Troy Radford mentioned he's on the Speedway. A whole lot of drivers checking in with their qualifying times. Let's see how they're all doing here, Cole, as we've got just about a minute and a half left in time that they can actually use, because the back 5 minutes of this session are used for their drivers' meetings. So you see these guys starting to get their times in and where they're going to start.
Yeah, it looks like the front, about 13 cars within 0.2 of a second of each other. DJ Mitchell, I believe, just shot up the second there towards the end of, I believe that was the end of his qualifying run. That's beautiful, number 61 Camaro. I believe that's the new Nest sponsorship on the hood of that. We're looking at Donald Sandusky out of Pennsylvania in the number 19. That is a very wild color combo, but I am digging the chrome on that car.
And it looks like it's for a good cause as well. Remembering Ryan, don't know the context there, but we'd love to talk to him at some point tonight and learn about that context. That looks like a pretty special one there, adorning the number 19 Chevrolet Camaro as he runs. Looks like he's just going to come back around to the start-finish and end his qualifying attempt. There's Richard Sudduth again in that number 39. We saw Greg Welton. We've seen a lot of these cars as well. Here's the 21 car. We saw him as well in that Fruity Pebble Chevrolet. That looks so good out there. But we've gone through a lot of these paint schemes. There's probably some more we'll have to go through throughout the course of the evening, but you've got time yet to get your votes in. Again, vote with the car number of the paint scheme that you like best if you want to win yourself a free t-shirt. Oh, and yes, also that paint scheme gets some rewards as well. So make sure to vote out there in the chat. Thanks for doing so. About 23 seconds left here in qualifying. A lot to look at, a lot to take in here, Cole. Boy, we've got a lot to watch out for.
Yeah, and this track is so unpredictable. I think really just guys are qualifying to kind of set themselves up where they want to be at the start of this thing. But at the end of the day, it's not going to really factor too heavily to where you'll finish this race, because you saw the Nork event a couple weeks ago. I think I qualified maybe 10th or 11th, somewhere in there, and I was able to get from 20th to the lead in about 2 laps. So really, it's really just going to be about when you time your runs, and I think it's going to come down to about the last 2 laps at this track.
Do want to mention checking out YouTube chat, seeing that it is actually Billy Stanley in that number 2 car this evening, Hound Dog. So thank you to Juanita and Dave for pointing that out to us. Hey, a lot to learn when you come into a brand new league, so I really appreciate your guys' help out there. We are going to take a quick step away. We're going to give you a couple of messages here from our partners here at PitStop TV. We'll be right back to you momentarily with race beginning coverage here at the iRacing Super Speedway. This is the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race in the Pit Stall Premier Series. Don't go anywhere.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20, and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to the virtual, well, certainly virtual iRacing Super Speedway. It only exists in its virtual form. Such a fantastic Super Speedway, though. Cole, you raced here not so long ago here in the Nork iRacing series on PitStop TV. Here's a look at the Speedway. It really is a behemoth. Look at that, 36 degrees of banking in the corners. It feels like a lot more, though.
Oh yeah, the banking is basically a wall, to say the least, and you can see the track's about 3 miles. 10-degree banking on just the straightaways alone, which kind of makes the car slant over to the right just a little bit when you're steering, but it gets wild. And for our overseas friends, that's going to be 4.82 kilometers, this big speedway, formerly known as Coca-Cola Speedway on the NASCAR Racing by Papyrus Sims, but this is a track that a lot of people know and a lot of people love, and it's beautiful to see in the iRacing service.
Absolutely. And now this is absolutely one of those kind of divisive tracks being added to the sim. I think you compare that with the next-gen car being added early and the 1987 cars being added. There's a lot of unknowns at first, but I think this track has kind of earned its place within the sim racing world. Certainly, if not almost 20 years ago, then certainly today in 2021. It's a fantastic speedway. Now, yes, it takes things literally to the extreme, but I think there's a place for it. It's a lot of fun. It certainly puts on fantastic racing, and I mean, is that kind of viewpoint shared from a broadcaster to a driver like yourself, Cole?
Well, it really depends on the driver. I know a lot of people hate this place. Myself, personally, I love this place because, I mean, it's one of those tracks you just go out there and send it, and that kind of fits my personality as a driver. But, yeah, I think it's kind of a mixed bag of emotions when you come to a track like this. But for an all-star race, I think it's perfectly fine. A lot of people were very mixed on running this as a Nork points race, but I think with these guys running an all-star race, I think everybody's just going to have a fun time. But we do have the factor of money, and that's when things start to get crazy.
Yes, absolutely. Once again, the race winner this evening, getting himself not just a fantastic Fort Worth screen printing donated t-shirt, but also $250. Not quite that $100 million check. There we go. That the NASCAR guys win for getting their all-star race win, but $250, that's big for a sim race. That's pretty incredible. These guys have put that together, and $100 goes to second, and $50 goes to third. That's something different from the NASCAR all-star race, where usually if you're second, you better bring home a steering wheel because you better have given it your all, and it's checkers or wreckers at that point. No, here we are given $100 still to second place, and that's a little consolation prize. Then if you come up just a little bit short, it's going to be fun. I wouldn't be surprised if our top three getting paid out this evening come across the line side by side by side. Flashbacks maybe to the inaugural Daytona 500 possibly, where they came across the line 3 wide. So certainly this will be a fun one this evening in the Fort Worth screen printing all-star race. Let's take a look then at your starting lineup from the iRacing Super Speedway. Charles Johnson puts the 09 on pole. DJ Mitzel to his outside, starting second. Starting third this evening, though, Donald Sadusky in the number 19 with Richard Sudduth to his outside. Starting fifth in the All-Star race for the PitStop Premier Series, it's Jeffrey Clinton in the 15, Daniel Holloway to his outside in the 21. Starting seventh, it's Len McNeese on the inside of row number 4 with Anthony Poston to his outside in the 8th spot. Starting in ninth on the 5th row, it's Derek Paulson with Hound Dog Billy Stanley, as we learned, to his outside in 10th.
Next row, I believe, is going to be Troy Radford and Kevin Freese. That's the number 25 car, the Budweiser car we showed earlier. Next row will be Randy Bledsoe in the 81. We told you to keep a lookout for him. Greg Wellen to his outside in the 14th position. Next row will be Sean Wilder and Anthony Bledsoe, the other of the two Bledsoes in this race. Now I believe the next row will be Luke Gray and Jerry Johnson, followed by Doug Johnson, another Johnson in the field, and Hilton Young And then our last row on the field will be Donald Stewart and Ray Radford, who did not set a time in qualifying.
And we learned that Hilton Young has got his own face, I believe, or was it? Hilton Young has got his own face on the front end of that WeatherTech Chevrolet Camaro, so that's pretty darn cool. Again, get your favorite paint scheme, best paint scheme votes in the chat now. You don't want to waste any time. I believe you should have until that halfway break, but certainly you want to get those votes in ASAP Alapagus. You've got to vote for your favorite paint scheme this evening as we get set to go for 90 laps in the iRacing Super Speedway. Thank you so much for joining us here at PitStop TV. A big shout out, a big thank you as always to our partners here on the channel, Tucson Sound Art, Race Pace Setups, Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine, Whiplash Media, and BAM Racing Videos. Get set to go for this one, boys. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be 22 cars at the iRacing Super Speedway for 90 laps, and it all starts now. Green flag in the air, we're off and away. Down the backstretch for the first time, it's all Charles Johnson leading the way. You see him on the bottom side with help from Donald Sadusky behind, and it's the 15 of Clifton in third.
Yeah, Charles Johnson. A lot of these guys probably just going to follow him around for the first few laps. Don't want to be too crazy. We do have 90 laps after all, so this is actually a pretty long race for this 3-mile racetrack. You see everybody kind of forming a line on the bottom. Two cars now on the outside. That's going to be the 15 of Jeffrey Clinton, who's getting shuffled out by DJ Mitzel.
One lap now in the books in the All-Star race here for the PitStop Premier Series. Johnson still leads the field rather organized so far. Pretty surprising this early. Usually you see these guys start to go for those positions. Certainly we saw that in the Nork running of this race. So usually, again, we expect these guys to move around a whole lot. Go for all the positions you can get when you're in a group. But right now these guys starting to string out.
Yeah, and it looks like we're almost forming two packs with the 25 and the 29 leading that second pack. A little break in the group, but you could be able to just draft right back up to this main pack. See two cars on the outside there. Now three. That's going to be the 15 Jeffrey Clifton with Derek Paulson and the 21 of Daniel Holloway on the outside. There's a fourth car behind them. That's, I believe, Troy Radford helping them.
Down into turn number 1. Now lap number 3. There goes the 09 of Johnson right back down to the inside of Clifton. Takes that spot back away. And they're 3 wide now out of turn number 2. That is the 21 up on the outside. Holloway with a big push.
Yeah, I believe Clifton tried to clear himself into turn 1 there. Couldn't get it done. That's the hardest thing about this track is if you're that guy on the bottom, the car is already loose enough. So the guy in the middle has kind of got to trust the guy on the bottom to not slide up and hit him. So Jeffrey just could not get down there in time. So Charles Johnson going to lead this lap as well.
Bit of a hiccup over there on Facebook for a moment. Thanks for joining us over there now, though, if you are, as we get things rolling here in the Pit Stall Fort Worth screen printing, say that 5 times fast, all-star race. Lap number 4 now underway. Holloway led off into turn 1. Johnson down low. And there's the 19 of Sadusky. Oh, and he might have net-coded maybe a little bit into that 21 car. They keep racing now down the backstretch. This is the 4th lap of competition of 90. They've got a stage break at the the start rather, of lap 50. Keep that in mind for these drivers. We are also on 75% fuel loads, Cole. That means they'll have to pit just a little bit sooner than maybe they thought otherwise.
And that's a key I actually missed in the pre-race. Pit stops here under green flag are very sketchy. If you saw our North broadcast, you saw me and Cody Miller dive down to the bottom of the car, almost jumped itself because it's basically a hard, it's almost like an apron transition, kind of like a Daytona. If you slid down that and just dropped to the apron of that racetrack, it's almost the same concept. It is a very sketchy pit road entry, and it's almost probably one of the most fun pit entries in the iRacing service.
Of course, the apron here at the iRacing Super Speedway, it doesn't have that banking to kind of progressively get you down to a flat piece of pit road. No, it it's just flat. It is 0 degrees as Holloway takes the race lead here on the 5th lap of 90. So that's the biggest challenge, and certainly why you guys had problems in the Nork running. And if we get to those green flag pit stops, these guys are in for a wild ride, as it looks like, well, we're going to have a new leader. Paulson takes the race lead, so the points leader now out front at the iRacing Super Speedway. He'll lead down to turn 1, and you see how these guys set into the corner, Cole. That's the other big challenge here. You got to make sure not to have too much wheel in the car, or you're going to go backwards.
Yeah, a lot of guys in the Nork race were actually getting loose because we put just the slightest bit too much wheel into it as we ride on board with, I believe this is Charles Johnson, the 09 machine. We're going to watch him go into the corner here. See, very gentle turn of the wheel there on the bottom. That is very good, because if you turn it just the slightest bit too much, that car's going to get loose. You're going to slap the apron and then shoot back up.
Oh, they crash!
And we got a crash, big wreck. I believe that's about 5 or 6 cars, one up on 2 wheels, and one car is missing the front end.
A big crash at a turn number 4. Several involved. Doug Johnson, one of them. We've got Donald Sadowski back here. Donald Stewart, Anthony Bledsoe. So many involved in this lap 6 melee out of turn number 4. Let's take a look back, Cole. Let's diagnose this one.
Yeah, and it should be noticed these guys have 3 fast repairs, or quick resets, however you call them, for this race. So that'll come in very handy over the course of 90 laps. But we're looking the pack here, and I believe this may start with the 19 car.
Yeah, I know Sadowski was involved. Yep, there it is. Some net code from the 61. And oh, man, who was that just barely caught a piece of it? And then a chain reaction trying to avoid it. And look at that. Sadowski gets a twofer in this one. I mean, he had missed the initial, what could have been an initial big crash, and then gets caught up in the reaction to his own slide.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstance there for Donald Sadowski, but yeah, that's the problem with running your this speed, because you're so close to everyone. Netcode could possibly be a thing here, because I mean, you're running so close and you're going about 240 on the straightaways, but great save there. And I think everything else behind this, yeah, just reaction. You see the 3 car go up to the 78, come back down, get the 29, and they go spinning. And ooh, the 1 car of Hilton, he barely missed that.
A lot to unpack in this first incident here at the iRacing Super Speedway. Came a little later, though, than we saw in Nork, so glad we got some laps in. Let's ride on board then with the driver of the 1 car, Hilton Young. I love that picture of his face on the hood. That's fantastic. And you see the 3 car sliding all over the racetrack, collects that Sinclair machine and just hard in the wall. So he gets a little piece of it, but look at that avoidance afterwards. That is some great driving from the driver of the 1 car, Hilton Young.
Yeah, we've seen some close calls on the channel this week, just like my Iowa miss when Sean Williams went spinning there. But yeah, that's what you're going to have in this race. You're going to have a lot of near misses. Hilton Young did a very good job of missing that. Unfortunately, he's got some damage to that right side, but luckily they have all kinds of quick resets in this race, unlike the Nork guys did.
Checking out some of the drivers coming in for service. Here's the 78 of Donald Stewart trying to coast his way back to the pit lane. Problems there. You see Jerry Johnson and Doug Johnson on the pit lane. Luke Gray is there as well. He's at Sinclair, number 29, that was involved. Sadowski, he's leaving the pit lane, though. He's getting back out there to rejoin the racing action. Ray Radford, I believe, caught a piece of it. It looks like Greg Wellen may have just come in to get some tires and fuel. Hilton Young as well after his damage. So these guys using their fast repair early. They've got to be careful in these next 80 laps. They want to make it to the end without using, ideally, any more of those fast repairs. They've got to be oh so careful from here on out. Hound Dog, though, Billy Stanley leading the show, as apparently he usually runs that number 8 car this evening in the number 2. So if you want to vote for his paint scheme, in fact, we can take a look here at the nose of that car. We can show you Elvis there on the hood of that car. If you want to vote for his paint scheme as your favorite this evening, you got to use the number 2. That's how you can vote for your favorite paint scheme in the field. Use their car number. So if you want to vote for Billy Stanley or Hound Dog, you've got to vote for the 2 car.
Well, it's ironic you mentioned the Elvis car of Hound Dog. You got the other Elvis car in the field right to his outside. That's Randy Bledsoe in the 81. The throwback to Dale Jr.'s 2007 Budweiser Elvis. I believe it was the 30th anniversary of, I think his passing or something to that effect. But that car's always been beautiful. It was a nice twist back in 2007, and still here in 2021, it's a beautiful race car.
It really is. It really is. Pace car lights are out. We'll go back racing this time by. So if you're maybe a little bit newer to racing, not sure of what pace car lights out means, well, every time they come by the start-finish line to take the 1 to go signal, they will display a furled green flag, kind of like a 1. They'll wave that to the drivers. Now, it's not quite simulated here in iRacing, but in real racing, that would be the signal these drivers get. And along with that, all of the caution lights, including the pace car lights, they get turned off. That signals to the drivers as well that there is 1 lap to green flag racing. That is our signal atop the pace car that we are ready to go back at it. We're going to have 81 laps of action to go when we restart this race. Coming to start, lap number 81. Let's take a look at the weather so far this evening, Cole. 67-ish degrees in the air, only 80 degrees on the racetrack. That is actually prime racing conditions here in the virtual state of Massachusetts for the iRacing Super Speedway. A lot of grip out there.
Yeah, and that kind of grip is going to really help these cars on this 36-degree banking, because basically when you're diving off into the corner on the bottom, you are just praying the tires grip, because we even saw it during the Nord race. A few of us got loose just because we were on the bottom of the racetrack and we were unanticipating the lack of grip we would actually have, because it's basically like, imagine you're dropping off into a wall as we're getting ready to go back green. Hound Dog leading us here with Randy Bledsoe to his outside. We're going to take the green right about now.
Three wide already out of turn number 2. Boy, they're getting close out of that second corner. Paulson takes the race lead. He's going to bring Sean Wilder through the middle, and Anthony Posted in that 31 car. They bring the fight to that bottom side and through the middle. They're going to clear themselves. 1 and 2, possibly, maybe. Oh, they get turned. Big crash into the wall in turn 3. Massive crash.
That was just the simple case of almost like, I believe the 91 tried to clear himself, and it just poor timing on his part. Nothing you can really do there. You're diving off into the corner, and that took out a lot of good race cars.
It's hard to say exactly what started it, so we'll take a look on our PitStop TV replay. Sean Wilder pushing that 6 car of Paulson up to the race lead. Let's take a look at things. Boy, this is going to be a big one in a turn number 3. And I think you're right, maybe. Either Hound Dog comes up or Wilder comes down. One of the two. They meet in the middle either way. Big contact, big crash, and oh my gosh. So many guys getting involved. Even that 25 car we were talking about earlier on, that Budweiser throwback.
Yeah, the 25, unfortunately, just basically became a pinball in that wreck. We saw, I believe that was a 31 of Anthony Poston getting involved in that as well, but we're going to ride on board here with Hound Dog in the number 2 Camaro, the Elvis Camaro. See the 6 car to his outside, that's Derek Paulson, and you're going to see the 91 of Sean Wilder going into the corner here. And Sean Wilder is going to, let's see, survey says...
they kind of drove into each other.
Yeah, kind of met in the middle there. It looked like Hound Dog went just a little bit up, looked like Sean went a little bit down, but that's kind of what this car can do at this type of racetrack, because it will unsettle if you're in that middle groove, and it will go down the racetrack. So, yeah, just a unfortunate circumstance there.
Yeah, literally just a case of circumstances, that time at a turn number 3. Nothing anybody really did wrong. Just a couple of guys trying to race, and unfortunately they met in the middle. And, well, when that happens at 240 miles an hour, Cole, this is what ensues. Straight up the racetrack, hard in the outside wall. Everybody trying to miss it, but at that point it's oh so hard to do so. Look at the carnage back there. Oh, my.
Yeah, I think I saw the 37 of Jerry Johnson get hooked straight into the wall, and that is not a very fun feeling, especially when you're running maybe a higher force feedback range. That can really rip the wheel out of your hands if you ain't careful, and that's it's not a fun ride at all. It's not fun to crash here at all, but definitely a hit like that'll shake you if you're running a higher force feedback.
Well, some good news if you're a fan of that 37 car of Jerry Johnson. He's back on the speedway. His monster Toyota Supra back at it. A lot of cars in the pit lane this time through as well. Anthony Bledsoe, Hilton Young on the pit lane. That's That's painful for Hilton Young. We just saw him grab that fast repair. It looks like he's waiting on a tow now. That or trying to save a fast repair and waiting on some repairs. Troy Radford's in the pit lane. You see Kevin Freeze there as well in that 25 car. Len McNeese in the pit lane in his number 84. He caught a piece of things. Boy, so many cars torn up in this one. Hilton Young going back out there with some damage along with Kevin Freeze. So these guys, I think, starting to realize they've got to save their fast repairs. There's going to be a few more incidents where that come from.
Well, the good news for Hilton Young's face is the hood is still straight, so Hilton's face decal on the hood is not bad. And if I was WeatherTech watching this, I would definitely send that guy maybe a cup phone, because that is definitely some good brand marketing at the finest. And you can see on board there is Hilton Young's face on the hood of that number 1 Camaro.
That's awesome. I love when sim racers kind of embrace that whole thing. You know, they could put any logo they want on the hood, but why not put your face on the hood? That's fantastic. I really like seeing that for Hilton Young. That's a cool looking paint scheme. And you know what? He could use that cup phone maybe to keep watching our broadcast, because I know he was tuning in at first there when we were getting ready, getting through our intro procedure. So I know he was out here at one point or another. I'd imagine now he's focusing on the racing, but if he had a cup phone, maybe if he's got a cup holder on his rig, he could keep watching. Who knows? But we are getting on to lap 13. We'll restart, it looks like, on lap 14 here, Cole. So getting some of the race out of the way still, but a long ways to go for these drivers. Again, 270 miles. That is quite some distance. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. I see a lot of you out in the chat. Got a lot of messages out here from Juanita Wolf. So big thank you to Juanita talking out in the chat. Heather Jewett out there as well. We've got Jill Wynn. A lot of fans out there. Austin Reed, Jerry Gaines, Mrs. Kudeman. We've got Faith. We've got so many people out there. We see I think Siphon out there. So many fans watching this evening. Thank you for doing so. Thank you for joining us here on PitStop TV. I know a different place than you're used to tuning in for your Pit Stall Premiere Series action, but very, very glad you're doing so this evening. A big shout out to all of you watching. A big shout out to these partners here at PitStop TV as well. Tucson Sound Art, Race Pay Setups, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, Whiplash Media, and BAM Racing Videos. I'm not sure where BAM went this evening, but after our broadcast, if you want to check out some fantastic crashes, thankfully everybody okay, or he wouldn't put them in his video. He's got a new crash compilation through the last few months on his YouTube channel, so go check out BAM Racing Videos after this broadcast. I'll have to go check it out myself. BAM, a fantastic camera guy that I work with in the real world that goes around to so many racetracks. He's got a busy month along with me this month, so definitely go check him out. Give him a subscription there on YouTube, and tell him that we sent you. Lap 14 about to be underway into the restart zone of the iRacing Super Speedway, and we are once again green in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race. Single file go the top 5 or 6 out of turn number 2, Cole. Much more orderly this time around.
Yeah, I'm only seeing 2 cars. It's a 2-car tandem actually on the outside. That's the 21 and the 2. And I believe they got a 3rd car. Now 4 cars up in that top groove. So probably just going to try to ride around and just have maybe 2 lines leading this track.
Bottom side getting rolling. You see the 6-car Paulson leading the way. He'll exit turn number 4 and keep that race lead. Side by side from second on back. Here comes Hound Dog, ladies and gentlemen, with big time help from Holloway.
Yeah, that's a massive push on that outside line. Is not going to be able to clear the number 6 Derek Paulson going into turn 1, but we ride on board now with Daniel Holloway, the Fruity Pebbles Camaro, just shoving the number 2 of Hound Dog down the straightaway. I believe Hound Dog's going to be able to clear himself here into turn 3.
This is a great look at the momentum that each line gets. This is actually named the spotter camera, so you can really see what a spotter would see here at the iRacing Super Speedway. And look at that big move to the inside from Holloway. He wants the race lead side by side out of turns 3 and 4. Holloway with the lead, but ooh, Paulson looked down low. We saw that backfire in Nork. Thankfully, he ducks back in. Holloway leads across the line. Here comes the 19 car. Sadusky running that top. He's got momentum as they drop off into turn 1.
And the unfortunate thing for Sadusky is basically you're climbing the very top of a wall, so it'll be good for a run off the corner, but midway through the corner, you're going to lose a bit of ground to those guys. You see Randy Bledsoe back up there. The Elvis cars now working together as a tandem on the outside, trying to pass Daniel Holloway.
A nose to tail, Elvis helping Elvis down at a turn number 3. Meanwhile, you have the two fruitiest looking cars quite literally in that. Well, actually, I think quite literally for both. I think there's strawberries in the hood of that 6 car. There's a lot going on in those two machines. Holloway blocks up to the middle, but he is going to get split 3 wide across the line. Hound Dog leads it, and he brings Hound Dog along with.
Yeah, and I think Randy Bledsoe just trying to get Hound Dog to the lead. Those two probably just want to get to the bottom and chill out for now. We got about 2 lines working. We got 2 cars way up high. That's the 19 and the 25. They're going to fall back now, so we'll probably see them come back up through the field here in a couple laps. But those Elvis cars making not so quick work of the outside, but they are controlling that outside line.
That they are, and I've just noticed that 81 car is 1 lap down from the looks of things. I'm looking for him in the field. Yeah, Randy Bledsoe 1 lap down in the number 81. So he's up here racing with the leaders, but he's not actually racing for position. If anything, he wants to switch positions with that Elvis number 2. He's got to get in front of Billy Stanley if he wants to get that lap back. But right now he's pushing that 2 car back up to the race lead. Now looks low, and it looks like Hound Dog will go down with him. Contact and big crash. Oh my goodness. What a ride on board. Wow.
Not one thing you want to do here is scaling the fence at iRacing Super Speedway. That 36-degree banking, not fun to scale at all, and we were on board with that, and that was just, it looked like Randy got loose there, and that's one thing about this car that is very scary to do, because you can lose the back end very easily heading into turn 1 as we get a replay here. On your screen, we're going to see Randy Bledsoe make the move down low with Hound Dog. See, he's pushing Hound Dog there, goes low to try to follow, or try to get his lap back, I would assume. Gets loose right about now. See him just twitch. Goes up into the 31, the 21 in there, and wow.
Oh my goodness.
What a flip.
I was going to say somebody stepped on his blue suede shoes, but I think he stepped on his own blue suede shoes, got crossed up into the corner, and boy, that was big contact. What I noticed out of that, Jerry Johnson involved, Hilton Young also involved, so Hilton Young may be done for the evening. We'll see. I think he saved a fast repair in the bank, but it's going to be tough to tell. We'll have to wait and see exactly if he gets back out into the field, but a lot of carnage early on. And again, Bledsoe just trying to stay up there and put himself in that lucky dog position. Ends up just getting loose, like we talked about, Cole, on the bottom side of the racetrack. Sideways or overcorrects, takes out the 31 of Poston and the 21 of Holloway, along with several other cars. Hilton Young, one of those, Jerry Johnson involved, and oh my goodness, so many others on the inside of turn number 2.
Well, I think Randy Bledsoe might be doing the good old jailhouse rock after that one, because he took quite a few cars with him in that incident, and that's the unfortunate product of this racetrack. Once you get loose, it's very hard to catch, especially on the banking itself. And yeah, it's basically the basic physics law that what goes up must come down, just reverse this time.
We're right on board here with Luke Gray in the number 29 Sinclair machine. Into turn 1, you see the carnage unfold, and he was trying to dodge. Looks like he may have been collected from behind, and I mean, there's just nowhere to go. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Luke Gray. That's actually one of the better ways I've seen a car come out of a wreck here at iRacing Super Speedway.
Honestly, it is, yeah.
You see the Dino, he's not harmed in the slightest. His fender's crinkled, but the actual Dino himself is not harmed.
4 cars stay out here. It's now lap 20 of 90. Those 4 cars staying out will be Hound Dog, Billy Stanley in that 2 car, Sean Wilder in the 91, Richard Suddeth in the 39, and Donald Sadusky. How about that? Managing to miss that crash that time through. He will stay out and will assume the 4th place position. Everybody else, though, coming in for stops. That's going to be Charles Johnson, Anthony Poston, and so many more. DJ Mitzel, Derek Paulson, and Jeffrey Clifton, Ray Radford, Donald Stewart, Kevin Fries, Troy Radford, Len McNeese, everybody else in the field coming in for service this time through. So they will all have 4 tires and fuel, and for some of those guys, 1 fast repair less, and that is oh so crucial to save. Again, throughout this race, that's your lifeline. Those 2 fast repairs, basically 3 cars. If anything, you only want to use one every, 31 laps to make sure you don't use one in this 90-lapper. And we could always go to extra distance. Certainly, green, white checkers are in play.
Yeah, and definitely if you have those fast repairs, if you have to use one early, I feel like that's kind of a fail-safe, but you might just want to ride at the back at that scenario, because you really do not want to use those last two until about the last 20 laps if you have to, because those can end up saving your race or breaking your race in two. But, yeah, I believe that's one of the reasons we saw Hilton Young do that, was just to save his fast repairs for later in this event.
What do you say we take a moment and speak with the driver of the one car who's been in every single event so far, Hilton Young? It's been a rough one out there for you, buddy, but that face on the front of your car, your own face, you're still smiling.
Yeah, everything's always all good.
It's been rough, but this iRacing Super Speedway, man, it's either forgiving or it's not. Certainly not so far, but is your time coming? I think you're on your final fast repair. Is your time coming? How do you manage these wrecks?
Yeah, I'm going to have to take it a lot easier than I thought I needed to.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge, trying to miss these crashes? What makes it so difficult? Obviously, you're traveling at 240 miles an hour. Is it just the sheer speed? Is it the banking in the corners? What is it?
I think I've been guessing wrong. It's so high banked that you really need to go outside and let everything wash down. I've been going down low and everything's washing down into me.
Well, buddy, hopefully you can miss whatever comes up next and get out there and put the number one in position number one. Best of luck to you, buddy. Anybody you want to shout out?
Yep. WeatherTech Chevy Camaro.
All right, maybe they can get you a cup phone so you can watch the broadcast while you're racing, buddy. Best of luck to you, Hilton.
Thank you, sir.
Hilton Young working on things there in the number one car. Best of luck to him as he tries to turn his luck around this evening. It's been a rough one, but if you're a Hound Dog or a Hound Dog fan, boy, you've got a lot to be happy with as he keeps his number two out front of the field. So we'll reset, we'll re-rack them, restack them, as we always say. Get ready to go now for just under 70 more laps. Again, that stage break coming at the completion of lap number 49, the start of lap 50. So make sure to watch out for that as time goes on. We'll exit turn number 4. The pace car will take its hard turn down to the inside and down to the safety of pit lane. And we bring them into the restart zone. We'll let them get back out it. And green flag flies once more from the iRacing Super Speedway. It's still so amazing to me that these guys have to get up to 180 miles an hour before popping fourth gear, but they do so. And through turns 1 and 2, we're already almost up to terminal velocity, already at 230. Down to turn number 3. It looks like that 91 of Sean Wilder, he's still out here. He drops down to the middle line to block the run from DJ Mitzel, and they are now nose to tail, bringing that 6 car of Paulson. Hound Dog separates. He's got a lot coming at him down the front stretch to complete lap number 22.
And you see the entire field kind of fanning out right there, looking from the spotter cam. Hound Dog, I believe, led that lap. Yes, he did. He's got Sean Wilder to his outside. Actually clears himself going into turn 1. New race leader, Sean Wilder. That was help from DJ Mitzel on the outside. He's got help from the 6 car of Derek Paulson.
On board here with Jeffrey Clifton in that 15 car. He's a little ways back of these guys now, and you see them starting to run that top side in. I say run the top side in. It's just gaining momentum. There's even the 78 of Donald Stewart. Wow, look at that landing for the 39 at Stud. Thankfully, he hung on to the race car. But, boy, that's how easily it can get away from you as we have a race lead battle down to the start finish. Another big crash in front of the entire field.
Derek Paulson still spinning across the front stretch here. He's gone about, I believe, 300 yards just spinning in circles. Finally gets the car going straight, but I believe that was actually a pretty small crash for where it was.
For what it could have been, yeah.
Yeah, that was a very bad scenario. We're going to get the replay up here on your screen. I believe Derek Paulson went for a hole that was there, and he started ping-pong between Sean Wilder and maybe Hound Dog.
So you'll see what the 6 car does at a turn number 4. He stays middle as Hound Dog went high. Wilder kind of squeezed, and they all just made contact. And oh my goodness, look at the ricochet turn into a big crash here for Paulson. The 18 grabs a piece, and then he's just spinning, doing circles, almost pirouetting in front of the rest of the entire field. Nobody else hits him. That's incredible.
Yeah, some guys run VR. I think I'd be getting sick after a spin like that, but maybe some just mid-race donuts there for Derek Paulson. Maybe that can be a sign of what he'll do at the end of this race, hopefully. But yeah, you see the pack all together, and I think Derek Paulson was just seeing a hole right there between Hound Dog and Sean Wilder, and Hound Dog started to come down just a little bit, and that's when he started ping-ponging off of them, and I believe the 94 of Troy Radford is the one just barely got into the back of him trying to check up, and nowhere to go. You see the 37, the 78 go through them. The 19 just scooting by. The 18 is going to help him get sent into a plethora of pirouettes here on the front stretch.
Anthony Bledsoe involved in another one down the front stretch this time. It's pretty unfortunate there for the 18 car of Bledsoe. One of the better looking paint schemes, I'd say, in this field. And again, guys, fans out there watching this evening, you've got time yet to vote for your favorite paint scheme this evening. The best paint scheme in the field in your eyes. You can help them win a prize this evening. What exactly do they win? Well, the best paint scheme gets a butt kicker or a sequential shifter. Now, for any sim racer, that is oh so cool. If you don't know what a butt kicker is, well, it's basically a device that bolts onto your sim seat, your sim rig, whatever it may be, and it sends vibration, so you can kind of feel what the race car would be feeling. So one of the big things about sim racing, Cole, is you don't necessarily feel the race car on the track. You're kind of disconnected from feeling the asphalt, while the butt kicker tries to kind of get rid of that problem for you. It gives you the vibrations through the seat. It gives you kind of a sense of what the car is feeling on the racetrack. That could do wonders for somebody in these NASCAR stock cars, especially where feel of the pavement is oh so important, but also that sequential shifter, that could be good for somebody getting used to the new sequential shifter in the NASCAR Cup Series next gen cars for next year in 2022. So either one of those devices could be really helpful to a sim racer here on the iRacing.com service, along with helping them grab a new piece of hardware. You yourself, as a fan, then become eligible for a random drawing for 5 fans to win a special t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing.
Yeah, and 4 random drivers will also get that choice of the butt kicker or sequential. And personally, I would take that butt kicker because us as sim racers, we need all the improvements we can get because, I mean, I've already got the sequential. I had to purchase that one myself, but those butt kickers could come in really handy because essentially what we've got is just the force feedback system from the wheel. And maybe some guys have the higher end pedals that have the vibration motors in them, but a butt kicker could go a long ways in your sim racing career.
Absolutely. It could be the difference in some cases, I dare say. It could really, really help you as a driver. Again, especially on the oval racing side of things, in these NASCAR stock cars, they could really, really, really be helpful. So certainly gotta push you all to vote for your favorite paint scheme out here this evening in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race in the PitStop Premier Series. A lot going on so far, Cole. We're brand new to these race car drivers, brand new to this series, but boy, we've learned a lot in the first 25 laps of action.
Yeah, this race has been crazy. It's been wild. We see one car, I believe, missing a front end there. That's the number 78. He's going to be restarting 4th in line here, so that might make it interesting. That's Donald Stewart. You see that from the back of the number 2 of Hound Dog. That 78's missing the front end, so that could maybe provide a little bit of a uncomfortable situation for those cars starting behind the 78.
Yeah, that could certainly be difficult for the field to work through. Now, I do think Donald Stewart's been in a few accidents. He may, A, he may not know he's missing his front end, and B, he may not know, he may not have another fast repair. That could be the big kicker there for the 78 of Stewart. So he may be at wit's end, and he may just be left with that race car at this point. We'll see what he can do from the outside of row number 2 on this restart. Now, if you're brand new to PitStop TV, I'm sure many of you are. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Certainly urge you to like the stream, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us over on Facebook. All our social links there on the bottom of your screen. Facebook.com/PitStop TV. We're on Twitter at PitStop TV_. We're even on Instagram and Twitch, Pit_Stop_TV on both of those. And of course, search for us, PitStop TV here on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're ready to go yet again from the iRacing Super Speedway. Green flag back in the air. Lap 27 of 90 underway. high, wide, and handsome. That 78 gets out of the way. He knows he's got that damage. Can't quite get up to speed, but everybody else fighting down to the bottom side by side for second. Here comes Hound Dog.
Yeah, I believe the 78 was actually told by some of the guys watching our broadcast that he was missing the front end. So shout out to those guys watching the broadcast right now. But you see the 61 there of DJ Mitchell taking the race lead into turn 3. Wow, getting my corners mixed up. That's how fast action is here at this racetrack. See the 37. That is, if I can, yeah, that's the 37 of Jerry Johnson. Sorry, I got mixed up. He is now pushing the 61 down into turn 1, and that might get a little sketchy if you stay on that bumper. He's going to lift off, though, and let him go.
Jerry Johnson, he's been in a couple of incidents this evening. Glad he's still out there. A little bit of damage on the nose of that race car, but he's still chucking along. And right to the back end of Mitzel, pushing that 61 into the lead, I believe, for the first time all evening long. So really cool to see Mitzel grab the race lead as we fire off down to turn number 3. Look at that, 3 wide for a second as Poston is back into this. Wasn't he all kinds of wide enough a few laps ago? Really cool to see him back in it, too.
Well, DJ Mitzel running away. And that man is styling and profiling. He's got blue chrome rims. And remember, you can vote for his pace.
Oh, big crash!
A big wreck. Sean Wilder up in the air and sliding on his lid. Maybe the car will flip over for him, but I think he's going to be stuck on his roof. And we got 2 more cars wrecking. That's the 39 of Richard Sudeth, and I believe the 11 also with the missing front end. That's Greg Wellen.
Wellen and Sudeth, they are involved a little bit later. Actually, it was Sudeth and Wilder who made the contact initially. Oh my goodness, what happens here? The 91 car, that red 91 of Sean Wilder, that's who you're watching here, as well as that blue and black 39 on the top side. I wonder if that's where this starts, maybe a little bit of contact there. The 91 of Wilder comes up the racetrack, squeezes Paulson up into Sudeth, and oh my goodness. I've never seen a car just take flight off a safety barrier like that. Wow.
Well, I have. Cody Miller did the same thing.
All right, maybe it's the second time I've seen it then. Oh,
Cody
my
Miller
goodness.
did a similar thing in the Nork race, but we saw Cody go out of the ballpark when that one happened. So Sean Wilder getting pretty lucky to, well, not be on his wheels, but at least stay inside the ballpark for this scenario.
Let's go on board here with Derek Paulson, who is in the middle of all of this. Again, a very colorful 6 car. He's got to be in the running for best paint scheme, I'd say. It's a fantastic paint scheme on his machine. Look at this, side by side, 3 wide for these guys. Wilders came up and they just, their bumpers mismatched and just aligned in the perfect way for that massive accident down the front stretch. Look at that, Sudeth involved, and both Budweiser cars in the field. Imagine that, both Budweiser paint scheme. Well, I think the 11 technically isn't Budweiser, but you get the point. Both of them involved in that.
Both White Dale Jr. cars in the
there you go, that works.
Slightest, but yeah, unfortunate way to go there for Greg Wellen, because I think he just kind of misread where the 39 was going to spin down, because Richard Sudden was spinning out of control in this wreck. We're going to look on board with Kevin Freese in the number 25, another Budweiser car in the field. We got a lot of those tonight. And you're going to see Sean Wilder go flying here in a second. There he is up in the air.
Wow.
See the 39 just starts spinning. Oh, just barely clipped him.
There's nowhere for Wellen to go either.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate timing, and that's one of the products of the 10-degree banking on the straights here is you don't really know where the car is going to go. And then Newton's laws of physics come in. What goes up must come down. It starts coming down. You're like, oh, no. And you got the right side ripped off your race car all of a sudden.
So under caution once again. It's lap 31 to 90. Let's check back in on that weather. Still about the same degree. 66.6 now. So we'll round that up to 67 degrees, certainly. Still 80 degrees on the track. I think we're working with just about static weather here, Cole. Things very calm, 2 degrees of wind. It's not pushing these cars around too much. Really, these incidents, unfortunately, have just come from small mistakes. I don't think anybody's really doing wrong. Just running out of room at 240 miles an hour. You've seen what's ensued afterwards. Look at this, though. 5 cautions for 12 laps. Certainly, these guys are having to master their restarts and get up through the field as quickly as they can. 8 lead changes through 30 laps so far. Hound Dog is your race leader, and I gotta wonder when he's gonna revisit the pit lane, Cole. He's been out there now for 19 laps, albeit plenty of them have been caution laps.
Yeah, luckily for him, he's saving a lot of fuel under the yellows here, but it's definitely going to be interesting. I believe in the Nork race with 100% fuel, we were going about every 30 laps into the pit lane, so reduce that a little bit, about maybe 25 to 27 laps in there, in that range, could possibly be the window for these race cars.
We'll have to wait and see exactly how long these guys can go on a tank of Sunoco race fuel this evening. You see pace car lights still on, so while that's on, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the upcoming broadcasts here for PitStop TV throughout the upcoming week. We've got 3 broadcasts in a row beginning Monday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have the BRP iRacing Series Pro Dirt Late Models from Cedar Lake up in Wisconsin. Make sure to tune in for that one. It's getting down to crunch time for those guys to figure out their championship. Maxime Plant and Travis Miller all over one another. You do not want to miss it. Then the Norc iRacing Series takes to Nashville Fairgrounds. That should be a fun one. Cole, you'll be in the field. How do you feel about it?
That's my home track, so that I'm definitely looking forward to going there, and that short track is one of the best on the service, so not to be biased or anything, just because I live an hour and a half from there, but it's going to be really fun, and I had a good run there last time we ran there as a collective group, so I think I can run really well again, and yeah, just be on the lookout for a black and white number 15 charging up through the field.
I'm sure you'll be in the picture as you are just about every week. Watch out for Cole Freilich on Tuesday evening in the Norc iRacing Series at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Also, want to make sure you tune in on Wednesday evening when the BRP iRacing Series Asphalt Modified Tour goes to South Boston Speedway. You see it there on your screen, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, that is their championship race. We'll have Joe Donahue on the call for that one along with Eric Brennan. That's going to be fantastic. Can't wait for the mods, the ground pounders, to unload at South Boston for a championship round. I believe Dave Corsell has got it about wrapped up, but still a lot of positions yet to be figured out, and you can see them get figured out on Wednesday evening at the South Boston Speedway. Awaiting a green flag one more time. We'll come around to take lap 33. A little ways past 1/3 into this one. If you're just joining us, it's been a melee, certainly. We're going to start to see some of these guys drop out because they're running out of faster pairs, but side by side for the race lead, you've got Billy Stanley and Donald Sadusky, who's somehow Stanley's been in front of all of these crashes, and Sadusky has just missed the last few. So these guys are your 1-2 drivers, and it looks like Luke Gray stays out under this caution along with Jeffrey Clifton. Everybody else pitted. Coming back to a green flag, we'll take lap number 33 through the restart zone, and we're back green flag racing at the iRacing Super Speedway for the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race. Up through the gears on board here with Troy Radford of the number 94. Let's see where he goes on this backstretch, Cole. One of the biggest things you Norton drivers talked about was the runs you get, the massive runs that we see Sean Wilder getting. Where is he going to go with it? Well, he goes in the middle, trying to find some kind of room. Yeah,
I actually found out, interestingly enough, that you can go from about 20th, about 3 seconds back to the lead in about 2 laps. I was having screen issues about midway through and pulled that run out myself, and I was amazed that I even got to the lead, let alone that quickly. We see one car pulling off to the pit lane back there, but almost 4 wide behind these guys, and that's the 19 throwing a bit of a block going into turn 1. He's followed by the number 15 of Jeffrey Clifton.
The 19 and 15 take the race lead. They move Hound Dog back into 5th place. Clifton all over the back end of Sadusky. That was Anthony Bledsoe having to pit out of turn 4 that time by. Wonder if that was maybe for some kind of penalty, possibly. Who knows? As we go 3 wide down to turn number 3. Lap 34 underway and coming to a close already is Holloway on the outside.
Holloway with a big meaty move to the outside. He's going to get shuffled back, though. No help on that outside, and really just not much of a run you can get from there. You see Hound Dog coming back up through the field, pushing Jeffrey Clifton to the front. That is Donald Sadusky, your race leader, with Derek Paulson pushing him. And it looks like, I believe Donald Sadusky is still going to have the race lead here as we come off a 2. And Derek Paulson's going to go back to the second place, but the 15 charging on that outside.
Sadusky still leading. Here comes Clifton, a big run to the top side. He's going to try and take that lead away down to turn number 3. He has it momentarily. He's bringing Hound Dog along with, but that 2 car looks up high. He might take it 3 wide out of turn 4 as Paulson and Sadusky take that race lead. Wow, just the way these runs move these cars around, and there's this bobbing and weaving, this ebbing and flowing is just incredible. 4 wide now down the front stretch. Holloway goes to the middle.
Holloway shooting the middle there. I don't know what he's going to do with that run when he gets to the corner. Goes way outside, almost like a Sheldon Haudenschild line, but we're not on dirt this time. It looks like the 15 is going to try to get in line. You got to think some of these guys maybe starting to position themselves here for the lap 50 caution if we make it to lap 50 under green flag conditions. And it's going to be interesting what happens here because a lot of the guys in the top 5 now starting to single file out. We got about 5 or 6 cars lined up on the outside behind them.
Certainly, these drivers starting to get close on fuel. If you are, I don't know, maybe Luke Gray, who stayed out for 17 laps, or Hound Dog for 25. So they're starting to get a little bit close. They've got to make sure they come in soon or get a caution soon. The rest of these guys can go race call. They've got fuel to go to the end here, at least of this stage. They're only racing to the completion of lap 49. That is some 12 or so laps away. It looks like 13 laps away, including this one possibly. So we are getting close, just over 10 laps from that break. We are going to give 5 of you fans free t-shirts from Fort Worth Screen Printing. And
remember to be eligible for those t-shirts. I think they said you have to vote on one of the paint schemes.
Yes.
So make sure you get your paint scheme vote in there so you can be eligible to win a free t-shirt courtesy of our friends at Fort Worth Screen Printing. As Donald Sadusky now leading the bottom line train here.
Got right up on him, man. Paulson gave that 19 car a shove down in the front. So we're starting to see through the nose of that 6 car as they roll down a turn number 1. Look at everybody. Most of these guys trying to get down to the bottom. Oh, maybe a crash. That 21 a Holloway rather. Oh my goodness. What a save is right.
Save, and that's something you usually don't get away with. So Holloway's very, very lucky he got away with that. But that's going to shuffle him out, but I think he's still got the draft of this lead pack, so he might be right back up here in a few laps. Yeah, he's got some help behind him, so that'll help him out get back up to the front and pull lap 50 caution. But that might be the warning sign for some of these guys to just, hey, let's all just ride around to lap maybe 48, 49, then just go for it.
That will have you counting your Fruity Pebbles, certainly. That was scary for Daniel Holloway. Thankfully, he hangs on to that race car. He's got 3 laps led. He can certainly get back up there and add to that total here before the end of this stage. But up front, it is all Donald Sadusky. The top 4 riding in line down low. But that 91 car, he's 1 lap down. He wants to get up there. And no, he's 2 laps down. He wants to take one of those laps back.
One car hit the apron there. I believe that was Anthony Poston flipping the apron just a little bit. That's very easy to do in these race cars, though. And I believe we got about the first 6 cars now single file. Now got to be a first 7. As you see, Randy Bledsoe still 2 laps down now. He's filing in, but we got 2 cars on the outside. That's Sean Wilder and DJ Mitchell, who I was talking about right before the lap, or I believe one of the previous cautions. Styling and profiling with the blue chrome rims.
He's trying to go somewhere, but just no momentum right now. These guys, I think, trying to settle in. I think they've kind of realized they've got to make it to the end of this race if they want to win that $250 prize. Almost some contact there down the backstretch, though, between Mitchell and Johnson. Thankfully, we keep racing. At turn number 3, the landing into that corner getting scarier and scarier as this race goes on. You'd think we'd get more accustomed to it, but no. As one car sideways out of the final corner, who is that coming in? That is Hound Dog. He has to come in for fuel.
Yeah, it was bound to happen eventually. He saved enough fuel under caution, though, but at some point you got to come in. I mean, we don't know exactly what the green flag numbers are, but I believe that was, about 28, 29 laps with the cautions mixed in?
Yeah, thereabouts. So you can only save so much fuel, especially with the 3/4 fuel load. 75% of the 18.7 gallon limit. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it's not enough. Probably around, I would say, 13 gallons-ish.
We just had a very close call there. Jerry Johnson hit the apron, went up, nearly clipped. I believe Sean Wilder was the car on his outside now. Daniel Holloway, he was sideways 2 or 3 laps ago. He is now back up into the top 10. That is the beauty of this racetrack.
We told you he could get right back up there and add to his lap-led total as these guys lap Hound Dog. It's going to be tough then if you're that 2 car, Billy Stanley, to get back into this race. But he's got plenty of time to do it, and the good news for him, he's the only car 1 lap down. All he's got to do is stay on this lead lap to our stage break in just a handful of laps. You see the 94 car of Troy Radford go up high. He wants to try that top side, but no dice just yet.
Yeah, it looks like DJ Mitzel's still trying to get that outside working with Sean Wilder. They're kind of slopping back just a little bit. The 39, we saw him spinning out, or we saw him spinning out pretty wildly earlier. That's Richard Suddas. He's now on the outside line. He was 7th at the line there, but he's going to fall back a little bit. We see the 15 now getting to the mix as Jeffrey Clifton come to the back of the outside line. But now we just got Troy Radford going back down to the bottom under Daniel Holloway.
You've still got time to vote for your favorite paint scheme in this race. Let's take a look at some of them. There goes our race leader of Paulson up to the lead, now down to the bottom side. He's got posted in behind. You see the pit stall 91 of Sean Wilder in the frame as well. I like the most recent vote that we've gotten from Sarah DiNapoli, voting for the 21 car of Holloway. Look at that Fruity Pebbles machine. Boy, that takes me back to being a kid and eating some Fruity Pebbles in the morning. It always turned to the milk a funny color, but boy, they tasted so good. You got the 94 there of Radford in the mix of all of this. So many great cars that you can vote for. Make sure to do so using the car number that you like best, and you can, well, help them win either a butt kicker or a sequential shifter. It's up to the driver then at that point, and you can also enter yourself to win a free t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing. Again, from Fort Worth Screen Printing, and you've got to vote using your favorite paint scheme's car number in the chat if you want to be eligible. Coming up to 5 laps to go, this time buying the stage, now taking lap 45.
And going back to that paint scheme vote, I would almost count some of these wheels colors as a bonus points, because you see guys like Anthony Poston having almost teal colored wheels on those machines, and you got to think if they blend in with the paint scheme, they're really nice. The 6th car, though, making an aggressive move. That's Derek Paulson under Sean Wilder. Sean Wilder now getting shuffled back.
So Paulson taking that race lead with assertion as he shuffles that 91 back. The 91, 2 laps down. He just wants to get back into this race. So I can understand the aggressiveness, but man, that was close at a turn number 2. 4 laps remain in this stage. Most of the field down to the bottom side. There goes Holloway back up high with Wilder in tow. Across the line, 4 to go.
And Daniel, we talked about him just getting loose and then coming back up to the front. He's now going to look on the outside for the second spot. Can't get it done. It's going to go way up the track, actually. I wonder if he was a little spooked that the car might get a little bit loose, because that has a tendency to happen at random with when you got somebody pushing you. But it looks like it's a 2-horse show here at the front. That's Anthony Poston pushing Derek Paulson. And you got Troy Radford now up there.
Radford all over the back end of the 31 car of Poston as he grabs a little piece of the apron, does the 31 car. Have to be oh so careful of that when you're driving around, especially in a group like this. A couple of cars down low. There go. It looks like Luke Gray in the 29, and I want to say that was Bledsoe. Yeah, Randy Bledsoe in the 81. Again, Bledsoe won one of the practice races here leading into this one, so watch out for that 81 car as laps go on by. But 3 laps to go in this stage, that time by the start-finish line. I'd imagine these guys should all be good on fuel, aside from maybe Donald Sadusky and Jeffrey Clifton. They could be close.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting if they have to pit, which, I mean, if you have to pit near the halfway break, not too big of a deal. You still got 40 laps to go till you run for the money. And $250 can go a long way, especially in sim racing, because that's almost like $1 million in sim racing. That
said, you lose about a lap, if not more, when you pit here at the iRacing Super Speedway. 2 laps to go in this stage. Sarah out there telling us Fruity Pebbles are still her fave, and she still loves them at 72. That's pretty cool. I don't know that I'll still be eating Fruity Pebbles at 72 years old, but that's actually really, really cool. A big shout out to all of you guys out in our chat this evening. Again, a couple of more laps. Make sure you vote for your favorite paint scheme in the field.
As we now got the Fruity Pebbles car leading this event. Daniel Holloway going to try to lead till the lap 50 break here. Derek Paulson pushing him with the number 31 of Anthony Poston behind them. But look at the 19 on the outside. Donald Sadusky trying to get back to the front.
Sadusky, he's on that top side. We've seen that top side be effective so far. If he can just get the right push, the right set of momentum to the outside, out of turn number 4 this next time by, he could win this stage. Now, I don't think there's anything but bragging rights up for it, but This is the final lap of stage number 1 here in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race in the Pit Stop Premier Series. Down the backstretch, side by side for second. Wilder in it, he's 2 laps down. Here comes Mitzel in that 61. They're about to lap somebody. That could prove interesting here as we come around turns 3 and 4. Still side by side for second. Sadusky trying to get a run, posting now to the inside of that 19 car. Old Mo is on the side of the bottom, and they're trying to keep it. As out of turn number 4, it's going to be all Daniel Holloway to the line. He wins the first stage in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race.
Really good job there by Daniel Holloway to win that stage, and just a good job by everybody to kind of keep it green there. We had a really good green flag run there towards the end of that stage, and hopefully we see more of that in the second stage of this race.
So these drivers will take their cool down lap. They'll come around and collect the pace car, this time by the flag stand. It is now lap 50 of 90. You know what that means, Cole? Ready to give 5 lucky fans a free t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing. We'll grab our marshal, if you will, of this fantastic little drawing. We'll give things over. We'll hand the mic over to David Cox. David, tell us who won those t-shirts.
All right, well, we got 5 lucky fans that voted. Well, I got Juanita Wolf has got a shirt. Heather Jarrett's got a shirt. Anthony Bledsoe's got a shirt.
Well, there we go. Are there 2 more, or is that all we got?
I got S7 Fawn's got a shirt. And Gary Gaines has got a shirt.
So fans, watch out in the chat. If you heard your name, you are a winner of a t-shirt. David, tell them how they can get in contact with you to claim that t-shirt.
Well, I believe that most of those people I named off there are Billy Stanley fans, because he is running away with the best looking paint scheme tonight. If they want to, they can just let Billy know where I need to send those shirts to, and we'll get them out to him here after the race is over.
And can you repeat those 5 t-shirt winners?
All right, we've got Juanita Wolf, Heather Jewett, Anthony Bledsoe, S7 Fawn, and Gary Gaines.
So Juanita Wolf, Heather Jewett, I believe you said Anthony Bledsoe, Siphon, and Jerry Gaines are our 5 t-shirt winners. And you said it sounds like Hound Dog is starting to walk away with that paint scheme voting?
Yep, yes sir, it's looking like it. If one of those people I named off are not Billy's good friend and want to give him the address, you guys can't get a hold of me either through Facebook. Name's Dave Freeman on Facebook, or you can type your name in the chat here and I'll just write it down.
Well, there you have it. That's how you get in contact with Dave as to how to claim your t-shirt. Again, from our friends at Fort Worth Screen Printing. Dave, we want to thank you so much for handling this for us here at our stage break. Thank you so much to everybody voting out in the chat. They do still have time, though, if they want to vote for their favorite paint scheme, though, right?
Yes, sir. We'll take votes till the end of the race.
There you have it. So, if you are just joining us, you can still vote for the best paint scheme in the field. That's not over until the end of the race, but unfortunately you have missed the drawing again. Those winners, Juanita Wolf, Heather Jewett, I believe Siphon out there. Man, memory's already starting to fade. I think Gary James is one of them. What was the other one? What am I missing here?
Anthony Bledsoe, I believe.
There you go. Anthony Bledsoe was the other t-shirt winner. Dave, thank you so much. We'll move you back down, but thank you oh so much for helping us with this.
All right, thank you guys for holding the
Absolutely rather. So that is Dave Freeman. Again, get in contact with him on Facebook if you want to claim your free t-shirt. Boy, I can only imagine. Now, we don't know the design yet, but I can only imagine it's going to be a pretty cool one. I've heard good things, of course, about our friends over at Fort Worth Screen Printing. So, again, if you heard your name, if you're one of those 5 lucky fans, you can claim your t-shirt either by contacting Billy Stanley, as it sounds like, or contacting David Freeman on Facebook. So, we will get set then to go back green flag racing. We're into the latter half here, Cole. We've got under 40 laps to go. In fact, we're coming up to 35 laps to go almost. It's about go time, but not quite enough fuel to go to the end.
Yeah, not quite enough fuel. And for those people voting for the Hound Dog, he just got the wave around, so he'll be back on the lead lap. And it looks like the King's going to be out in front of the paint scheme voting here.
Yeah, I dare say Billy Stanley's probably got that one locked up. A lot of fantastic fans out in the chat. Again, thank you all so much for your voting throughout the beginning of this one. We'll be talking to our stage winner under the next caution break, in case you're wondering about when we'll talk to that 21 car of Holloway. But for right now, we are getting ready to go back green flag racing. Paulson, your race leader, posting to his outside. Mitzel will restart, it looks like, in third, with the 19 car of Sadusky on the top. The top 5, though, is rounded out by Donald Stewart, who's back in this race. Can we get a round of applause? That's actually cool to see for the 78 car of Donald Stewart. Don't look, or I guess don't miss him. I don't know. Don't blink. He's coming for you. We're about to go back. There we go. Don't count him out. He's still got time. Thank you, Cole, as we get ready to go back green flag racing from the iRacing Super Speedway. Green flag back out in the air. Up through the gears, back up to race speed. We'll hit 230 before the end of the straightaway here, Cole. Rocketing down the backstretch. And actually, let's take a look at the telemetry as we rocket down there. Richard Sudduth already over 230. Can he hit 240 by turn 3? Maybe not quite 240, but oh so close. Oh, and he gets turned! Oh my goodness.
Wow. Look out, everybody. Oh, and he got hit. That's the 47 that hit him, and I believe
Ray Radford.
That is Ray Radford out of Pennsylvania. Unfortunate for him. He was the only car to not take a time in qualifying, and it comes to bite him now.
My goodness, I guess we shouldn't look at telemetry again this evening. As soon as we do so for the first time, we jinx that 39 of Sudduth. Now, he had Hilton Young in behind him. I wonder if that's where this contact comes from. It would stand to reason, quite potentially, that that is what causes this. But into turn number 3, let's see if we can get a better look at things. He's on the outside of, oh my goodness, look at that contact with Sean Wilder. Sean Wilder has been in so many 3-wide incidents. I feel for that guy. And oh my goodness, that hit.
I partly think that's kind of a racing incident there. It looked like Hilton Young was running a little bit. He was running about a lane and a half up, maybe trying to not have the car settle to where it, because the car, when it settles, it gets really loose on that very bottom. So maybe Hilton was thinking, hey, maybe if I go about a lane up, I can, the car will set just right and it'll handle perfectly through the corner. But unfortunately, Sean Wilder was coming up through the middle there, and they all just kind of tangled in the middle.
It looks like Sudduth was trying to lean back a little bit, start to fall back through the field, and Wilder wanted to go. Young was just in the middle, and Wilder went for the hole, and it just closed up. Several cars involved there. Oh, my goodness, that hit at the end.
Yeah, and that's a product of what Hilton actually said earlier was just guessing wrong what you saw happen to Ray there. That's just a product of guessing wrong, because when you're on the 36-degree banking, it just gets really hard to read where that car is going to go, and fortunately for Richard, that just destroyed the right side of his car, and he's actually out of tonight's event. So first retiree, I believe.
Richard Suddeth, it looks like, unfortunately done. A lot of cars have been involved in a lot of incidents. Unfortunately, it looks like his time is up here in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race in the Pit Stop Premier Series. Pit stops, though, underway here on lap 56, led by Charles Johnson. Len McNeese comes in, Daniel Holloway as well, who we'll talk to in just a moment. Looks like Hound Dog in. There's that number 2 car. He's back on the lead lap, ladies and gentlemen, so he is back in this race. Make sure to keep rooting on that, too. He needs it, as he's going to have to come back through the field here on this restart. But under this caution flag, we got to get a hold of our Stage 1 winner, and we're looking for him. We've got Daniel Holloway, and Cole, I'll hand him your way.
All right, well, we're going to get Daniel Holloway in here. Daniel Holloway, the first stage there, how was it for your race car?
Well, we're going to get wild.
Yeah, we saw you take that... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, we saw you take that ride on the inside. What was kind of going through your mind when you got sideways off of 2?
First, for one, I never really get loose coming out of the turn. Going into the turn, it gets a little squirrely there, but coming out, it surprised me and came right in front of the 29 Luke and was able to save it and didn't really let off. And first thing I was thinking was, there's the wall, and ended up not. And I was surprised to stay with the pack, and I told the guys in the room that I'm in that here I come again.
Yeah, it was a great save, and luckily we were able to catch it on the broadcast. But what's going to be your strategy here for what looks to be nearly about 30 laps to go in this race?
Save this car to the end. Still got a couple fast repairs, but it's still got one more pit stop, so we still got to keep doing it.
All right, well, before we let you get back to it, anybody got to shout out tonight?
Yeah, everybody who's watching out there, friends, family, you guys for short notice picking us up for tonight. Just want to shout out to you guys, and maybe this 21 Fruity Pebbles be back up in the front towards the end.
Well, we hope to see those Fruity Pebble colors out front later on tonight, and good luck to you, Daniel.
Thanks, guys.
That's Daniel Holloway getting things back and rejoining the pacing field here on lap 57, Cole. We're double file, ready to go back at it. Pace car lights are out. Boy, I have no clue what to expect.
I think it's just going to be chaotic. We heard Daniel mention there's going to be another pit stop, so we might see them just kind of mellow out until that pit stop comes. But if it's anything like we've seen before, we might not get much mellow racing.
No, I don't think so. This is an all-star race after all, and it is at the iRacing Super Speedway. Again, the biggest, the baddest speedway on the map, the virtual map anyways. Another top-down look at the speedway. Look at that, 3 miles, almost 5 kilometers, 36 degrees of banking in each corner, 10 degrees down the straightaways, and almost 250 miles an hour at top speed. These laps average over 230, if not over 240. It's just incredible what you can do here at the iRacing Super Speedway. Oh, so fast, speeds that you'll never see again at Daytona, Talladega, certainly at least not within our lifetime. Is ready to go back green flag racing. We're coming up to lap 58 of 90. Green flag back out in the air, just over 30 to go. Up through the gears in the 4th gear, already over 220. Down the backstretch, side by side for the race lead. Here comes Paulson.
And it looks like Anthony Poston's just going to get freight trained on that outside. Donald Sadusky giving one whale of a push to the number 6 of Derek Paulson. Paulson going to try to go to the lead. Can't get it done there. Looked like 31 may have clipped the apron just a little bit.
Don't look now, but second place in points. Gary Wellen, he's got to run. He's back in this one, and he is coming with a vengeance. He's up into 5th, now 6th, as the top side gets a big run. There goes Sadusky right around that 6 car of Paulson. He's got to run. Does he take the race lead outright? No. 3 wide for second, down to 1. Poston clears them all.
And I'm a little bit surprised that the number 78 back behind Sadusky, that's another Donald. That's Donald Stewart. Actually did not go for the move there, but looks like Sadusky's going to hook back up with the 6 car and going to try to go back to the front. We saw the number 6 of Derek Paulson try to get the lead a couple laps ago. Couldn't get it done, but maybe on this midway here, because here comes a big push from the number 19.
Coming down the front stretch one more time. Look at that side-by-side up to the line. Oh, a crash! Paulson gets turned. And he's going to collect a couple more. Hilton's luck finally runs out. There we go. Oh, my goodness. Big crash.
It looks like driver we have not mentioned tonight, Len McNeese in the number 84. Took a really hard hit in that one. The Darrell Waltrip throwback. I believe that's a car we haven't really got to talk about tonight for the paint scheme vote, but a lot of cars involved in that one. Hilton Young spinning now on the apron trying to get going, but let's look at our replay here. As I believe this started up front with the 6 car and may have just been a product of a bad push.
Yeah, that it was. Just a little bit of contact, unfortunately, for this 6 of Paulson. He's just going to get turned around on the front stretch. Not exactly sure even what happened. There it is. The 19 just bumper hooks him. That's so easy to do. And then McNeese and Young were already having their own problems. And look at that hit to the inside wall. Oh, my goodness. Carnage at the iRacing Super Speedway.
Well, the good news is Hilton Young's face is still pristine on the hood of that number 1 car. The back end's gone, but the face is pristine on that machine. We're going to look at... well, there's the back of the field, and now we're back at the front. This is Hilton Young, Len McNeese running together. So you're going to see the 6 car get turned up ahead once we get about halfway down the straightaway here. And it's going to be a product of just no place to go because you got 10 degrees of banking, so what goes up must come down, and you see the 6 car come down right there. Actually, I believe those 2 cars tangled before they got to Derek's machine.
Yeah, it looks a bit like Hilton tried to lift, and Len maybe didn't see it happening up ahead, and I think that's the miscommunication that ends up taking Hilton Young possibly out of this race. Now, we had talked earlier about the fact that Hilton didn't have any fast repairs remaining. He was on his final car. These guys have 3 cars, basically, 1 primary and 2 backups, if you will, to get through this 90-lap event, and this time down the front stretch, you can see Hilton lifts when he sees the 6 car get turned, and Len didn't quite get the memo and just runs into the back of him. Now, Hilton might have made it through that. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I think if I was Hilton in that scenario, I probably would have stayed in the gas because I think he may have just gotten a little right rear clip had he stayed in the gas. But that's the thing about iRacing Super Speedway. It's so easy to misjudge things. And we actually heard Hilton talk about it earlier that he was just kind of guessing wrong. And maybe that was another case of him just slightly guessing wrong.
Saw Jeffrey Clifton right at the end. Man, he almost gets taken out by this 84 as the 84 is careening out of control. Look at this. Look at how close this ends up being for the 84 after the rebound. Oh, my goodness.
Luke Gray as well. Luke Gray just kind of like scooting through the middle there. He's got a wall to go back up, though. And I think he just got grazed on the right side by Hilton Young's car flying down the track. So we're going to look at the replay one more time, I think. Nope, back to live coverage here, as that is the 31 car of Anthony Poston, your race leader.
So a lot's gone on this afternoon at the iRacing Super Speedway. Want to thank you all for tuning in once more. Invite you to check out our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, even Twitch. We stream over there as well. We're live, in fact, to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter all at the same moment. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. It's been a wild one. Got to thank everybody for making sure we could get on with you guys this evening. This was a late call for us to get involved with the PitStop Premier Series, and it sounds like maybe something just couldn't quite go right for Max Speed TV this evening. A shout out to them covering the rest of the series. So if you want to watch the remaining 9 races in the league, we invite you to go over to Max Speed TV on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern and check out the rest of the season. We looked at point standings a little while ago. Let's do it one more time. This is how they come in this evening to the All-Star race. Now, these points are not changing because of this evening, and these points are a conglomerate overall point standings. What I mean by that is these guys actually run 3 divisions each Saturday evening. They rotate from NASCAR Cup cars to NASCAR Xfinity cars like we've got this evening, even running NASCAR Camping World Truck Series cars. So they've got 3 different championships between each series, well, each division, if you will, and they've got 3 different playoffs within each division. But these are the overall standings. Paulson leads, Greg Wellen second with 3 wins. You see Holloway, who won the stage earlier on, he comes in 3rd. Clifton there in 4th. Troy Radford in 5th. I got to peek at the Phoenix race from a couple of weeks back with the NASCAR trucks. That was a treat. Again, check out Max Speed TV for usual coverage of the Pit Stall Premier Series. Just so glad to be here this evening.
Yeah, and Daniel Holloway trying to go with that Matt Kenseth strategy of only winning 1 race in the season but getting the championship anyway. That's one beautiful thing about this points format is you're able to do that as long as you are consistent throughout the season. Now tonight, it doesn't matter how consistent you may be. It's it's a run for $250, but it definitely could shift the momentum in your season if you win tonight.
Oh, certainly. I think this is a morale booster, if anything. It's certainly not going to change any momentum as far as learning racetracks that take a little more skill, if we're being honest. It's not going to change anything like that. You're not going to be able to take any of this that you learned this evening and apply it to Bristol, for example, or Iowa, I think, is next up for these drivers. No, but you can just get a morale boost, get feeling good about the series again, and just be feeling good in general. Even if you don't win, you can leave this race feeling pretty good about yourself. And hey, if nothing else, it's one that you can throw away if you don't do well. It's one that you can just come out here, have some fun, and at the end of the night, what's it matter if you end up losing? It's all for bragging rights, really. Some prizes on the line, sure, but no points in effect this evening. Coming around to take lap 64 of 90. We'll turn these hungry dogs loose, and Hound Dog is back in the top 6, ladies and gentlemen. Going back at it, side by side across the line. The top 6 start to break away. Out of turn number 2, down the backstretch. Hound Dog trying to find some way around these guys. Cole, we've seen a lot of this guy throughout this race, but he's got to get Old Mo on his side.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, though, because we still got one more pit stop in this race, I think, from here, because we've got about 27 laps to go, working lap 64, coming to 65 of 90. And this is a bit of a long event, because I believe the Nork event was only 67 laps, so a very long race for these guys as Anthony Poston still leading this race. He's got help from DJ Mitchell in the number 61. But yeah, Hound Dog is hounding the field right now because he is hungry for that lead.
Trying to get something rolling. He's on the outside currently of Jerry Johnson as we ride on board of the driver. Let's take his telemetry. You can see 240 miles an hour down the backstretch. Look at him. He's got to run on the top side. He's going 3 wide. He's going to try it. Going to try and take that race lead possibly, but just not enough of a run. He'll go backwards now on the top side. 3 wide.
And actually, he was 4 wide there for a moment. I believe that is the 09 that's coming back through the field. That is Charles Johnson. We haven't really talked about him, the pole winner tonight. He's already won a prize, but he's wanting more prizes.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, actually. He's got that free t-shirt already in the bag from Fort Worth Screen Printing. And how about a big shout out to them again, putting so much on the line, so many t-shirts out to so many people in this one. Fantastic company, fantastic what they're doing this evening, really helping this series out.
Yeah, and Charles Johnson, he's going for 2 t-shirts, so it's always better to have one. Well, it's always nice to have 1 t-shirt, but I've always had the philosophy it's better to have a second, so maybe they might be the same shirt. Hey, that's always a convenient way to go about it. Maybe it's 2 different shirts, but he's definitely wanting the t-shirt in 250 right now.
If this was the Nork iRacing series, we'd be taking the white flag, but we've still got over 20 laps to go. In fact, 24. This time by the stripe. Greg Wellen, now your race leader. I said a little while ago not to count him out. Now, with 24 to go, he leads through turns 1 and 2. He's got Sadusky behind, posted in 3rd, and Mitzel back there in 4th as the real fight starts to go on for 5th position, it looks like. No, 6th position, actually. Jerry Johnson fights to the inside, and he's going to bring Troy Radford along with.
And these guys had a very close call. I believe it was the 25 of Kevin Freese. He got the number 21 of Daniel Holloway very sideways, and he started ping-ponging with Jerry Johnson, but luckily they saved it going into turn 1. You see a little bit of damage to the front of that 21. Don't know where that's come from, but that thing is still chugging along. You see Derek Paulson going to the inside for that spot, and these guys are now catching those top 4 or 5.
Yeah, that field that was starting to split up, guess what? It's right back together as we complete lap 67. Gary Wellen would have won the Nork race here, but out of turn number 2, he's still got 23 to go, blocking down onto the apron. Boy, that could be so tricky as the 19 maybe going to lose second place. Here comes that 78, Donald Stewart. Big run to the top side. He's bringing Radford along with.
Yeah, Donald Stewart, we were talking about him missing a front end earlier. You see the 19 go up a little more, maybe trying to prevent himself from getting loose off the corner again like Daniel Holloway talked about. But, Troy Radford with a moment. What a save. You see Sean Wilder back up in this mix. And I think he might still be a couple laps down. Yes, he's the first car 2 laps down. So if we were to have a yellow, he'd be the lucky dog position right now. And then Len McNeese now trying to make something work on the top side behind all these people.
Derek Paulson right back into things after his mix-up down the front stretch a few laps back. Lap 69 of 90 down the back stretch. Mostly single file up front. Paulson going to go up high, though. He might join that 19 of Sadusky as Sadusky tries a shot at the race lead. It's not going to work out. Oh, my! Here comes Donald Stewart. Big crash again. Oh, my goodness. Kevin Freeze.
Somebody hooked straight into the wall. I believe that was the 6 car. And I thought they had it saved there for a second, but Derek just lost the handle once he got it straight and went down. And I believe he hit the 29 of Luke Gray and then just shot back up the track.
We'll start off this replay watching the 25 car of Kevin Freeze. Now, Cole, you talked about him ping-ponging a little while ago with the green card was outside and Jerry Johnson. This time, something different happens in turn 3. Wonder what it could be. 3 wide down to the third corner. Holloway in the middle. Do they go 4? Yep, they go 4. Johnson ping-pongs at 21. This time, oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Wow, and that was so close to catching the 2 car of Hound Dog.
Ironically enough, that was the same 3 cars I saw ping-ponging into turn 1. The number 21, that is Daniel Holloway. He was ping-ponging with Jerry Johnson and Kevin Freeze going into the corner. We're going to ride on board now and hang on. This is going to be a wild one. Up in the air, sticks to landing. I'm going to give that a 10 out of a 10. I don't know what the rushing judge will give it, but that was a clean landing for the Speedway.
And again, that was oh so close to taking Hound Dog along with him, but we now got to check in on Derek Paulson and see what happens to him here in turns number 3 and 4. We had left him when we saw the accident start, and he got contact there from the 61 of Mitzler up the racetrack. He almost saved it then hard into the outside wall.
And usually when I hit the wall like that, I usually go flipping, so I'm surprised a lot of these guys are hitting that wall at that angle and just kind of bouncing off of it. So that's kind of a fortunate scenario for these guys as long as you do not blow your motor.
On board with Paulson now. This is going to be a big one, boys. We were on board with him initially, and he got that contact. He went high of Mitzler there, trying to follow Sadusky, and they just make contact in a 3. He gets loose, tries to save it, can't quite.
You see him start to get loose. Had a little bit of a save there. Then Luke Gray comes along. Oh, big hit into the wall. Luckily, everybody else missed him. And he just spins back around, and I think he took the car straight to pit lane, which would have been the move in that scenario, because you only drop to the back in that scenario when you enter a closed pit before they close it.
Pit stops all around. Wellen the first one off. Charles Johnson will follow. Sadusky takes third. Then it's Clifton in the 15. Then Mitzel, Poston, Stewart, Young, Holloway, and Paulson, your top 10. So a lot changing once more under caution flag condition. What do you say then? We grab the driver of the... I want to make sure we've got him here in Greg Wellen. I'm looking around for him. Again, brand new names, got to get used to them all. We do have Greg Wellen that we can talk to. We'll grab him. We'll hand him your way, Cole.
All right, Greg Wellen, the current race leader. Greg, you got us.
I gotcha.
Well, we see you out front. How's the car been handling for you?
When it's not upside down and crunched up like an old beer can, not too bad.
Well, you mentioned old beer cans. That car is based on an old beer car in itself. Pretty cool Josh Berry car you're running there. And you're making it look good out front there.
Yeah, there's some about this paint scheme, I guess. So you just go to the front with it, so I'll take it.
Well, to the front indeed. You got about less than 20 laps to go, coming to, I believe, 19 to go. What's going to be the strategy just trying to survive the end of this race?
Yeah, find somebody to work with one way or the other, and just stay out as close to the front as I can, and hopefully have a shot at it.
All right. Well, before we get going back to green, is there anybody you got to shout out here?
Yeah, I got the Inland Empire Redbirds getting ready for the World Series, and I know a handful of them are watching, so hopefully I'm putting on a good show for the boys.
All right. Well, we thank you for talking to us, Greg, and good luck at the end of this one.
10-4, thank you, guys.
So Greg Wellen, the driver, the number 11, the Josh Berry Darlington throwback, beautiful race car, and it's like he said, it just finds its way to the front. So maybe going to try to recreate a little bit of that magic from the 2001 Pepsi 400, where Dale Jr. took a similar paint scheme to the victory lane.
Yeah, similar paint scheme. Not quite the same. Similar paint scheme there for Dale Jr. Way back when. But, boy, I think that's a fitting paint scheme then if he's got some baseball buddies watching along with. Greg Wellen now leading the race as we eclipse. What is this? I'm trying to do some math. 8 times 9 is... So, yeah, 80% of this race this time by. So 8 times 9 is 72. 10 times 9 is 90. So yeah, 80% of this race is done with this time by the start-finish line. And I gotta say, Cole, we've had plenty of caution flags. Certainly, we've been held up a little bit in this race. You can see that on the race info. 9 cautions for 23 laps. But even with the 16 lead changes and the 9 cautions, this one has just gone on by, I think, at a decent pace. We've only been on air for about an hour and 50 minutes, 52 actually, since we started this broadcast. It's gone by, I think, rather briskly for the distance that we were handed this evening. 270 miles. We're rocking along at a pretty good pace as we get ready to head into the final fifth of this event. You see the field roll by our stationary cam there on the bottom of turn 4. 72 laps will be in the books this time by. That leaves 18 to go as we get ready to drop the green flag on this field one more time. They'll come to our speed shot down the front stretch. They'll grind up through the gears, and we're back green flag racing in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race. Shake, rattle, and roll. That's the mantra now for Hound Dog. He's in 9th. He's getting the run here on Hilton Young, who is somehow still in this race.
Well, you were talking about multiples of 9. And Randy Bledsoe, 9 times 9 equals 81 here. He's back in the mix now on the lead lap. We got 2 more cars, 1 lap down, though. That's Kevin Freese and Lynn McNeese. Speaking of Kevin Freese, he's to the outside of Randy Bledsoe right now.
Around to complete that first lap since retaking the green flag, and it's Greg Wellen leading the way. Sadusky's second, but here comes Charles Johnson through the middle. You talked about him, Cole. Back in this race finally. He's got a great shot to do it.
Yeah, and I think he went with the strategy I mentioned earlier in the race, just kind of right around till about the last 3 or so laps. Granted, that was talking about the stage, but he's making it work now with about 20 laps, or, well, just under 20 laps to go.
We're almost down to 15 to go as well, and leads down the bottom side. He's got Sadusky in tow, and I think these guys are starting to find those they like to work with. It took them a little bit to get, acquainted with one another, but Sadusky seems to be pretty content right now behind that 11 car. He'll get a run. He looked like he thought about going high, but stays in behind the 11, pushes him across the line, and Wellen leads another.
A lot of these guys might just want to be patient here. Kevin Freese charging on the outside. Lone Soldier trying to get that lap back. Can't get it done. He got about to the 6th car on this bottom line. But a lot of these cars starting to get really dirty now from just running in traffic and from incidents. But you look back there, you see Kevin Freese on the outside of the 6th car, who was our most recent caution. Derek Paulson, he's up back into the mix.
Look at this 3 wide back here. This is about for the 10th position. Charles Johnson in the middle of it. Troy Radford as well. They almost go 4 around the 37 of Jerry Johnson. Hilton Young saw that. He said, nope, I think I'll let you guys deal with that. And he'll return that one to center down the front stretch.
Well, a lot of people have been talking about Johnson and Johnson in the news recently, and we got them side by side here as Charles Johnson makes the move on Jerry Johnson to get the spot. Now going to go to the top side. Looks like Jeffrey Clinton just going to size up a run coming towards the backstretch.
Starting to heat up front. The 2 leaders still out in front of the field, but here comes Mitzel, a big run up top. He's got help from behind. Here he goes. Sadusky blocks. Where does Mitzel go? He follows the 19, and Donald Sadusky will take the race lead to turn number 3. Side by side. Oh, there they go again.
Oh, hard into the one for the 61. A car clipped
All the
him
way
up.
in it.
That might have been Randy Bledsoe. Randy Bledsoe may have net-coded through that, so lucky escape. Daniel Holloway, your stage winner, involved in that, but he said he's got 2 more resets to go, so lucky for him. He saved those until the last 15 laps of this race.
The New Nest Realty, number 61, in all kinds of disrepair down the backstretch. Oh my goodness, yet another little miscommunication, just a little bit of contact. Nobody really doing anything wrong. They're just racing. They're going 240, almost 250 miles an hour, and when you make a bit of contact, that's what happens. We're watching along with the 61 car here of Mitzel, and somewhere down here to turn 3, things go wrong. There's some contact, I think, from Donald Stewart that gets these guys all kinds of upset. Maybe some net code potentially. Into turn 3. Yep. That's what happens.
Just a slight bit of netcode and a hard hit. You see Randy Bledsoe kind of just brush off the 61. Didn't look like Randy had any damage from that, but it's always hard to judge what could have happened to the motor of those race cars when that happens.
Well, let's ride on board with Bledsoe as this all kind of develops. So this is into turns 1 and 2. He's in behind Hound Dog on the top side. So the 2 Elvis cars working together once more. You see, there goes Hilton Young. Interestingly, rolling back up to the carnage is... Well, he dipped out of it just a little while ago, and then everything happens in turn 3. Look at how quickly this happens.
Yeah, you're going to see it unfold up here. You're going to see a lot of smoke start going, and right there you see the 61 go sideways, slams the wall. Just,
lucky.
Right, and netcode giveth and netcode taketh is what I always say, and that was given it. Wow, look at Jerry Johnson saving it on the apron. Oh, got to look out for that pit wall. That is a massive pit wall that you do not want to hit.
And I think he just barely saved it from any further contact to the inside wall. So great grab there from Jerry Johnson in the 37 car as we come down to about 10 laps to go. Once we go back green flag racing, that's all we're going to have. It's lap 78. We will likely get 1 to green at lap 79 this next time through. So we'll go back green flag with 11 laps to go.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Daniel Holloway's Fruity Pebble fans, he is now out of this race, so your stage winner is no longer in the race. But looks like Donald Sadusky going to try to lead us, hopefully, the charge for the last 12 or so laps of this race.
And we're also told that Holloway is the reigning champion of this series, so big troubles there for Daniel Holloway. Thankfully, though, this is a throwaway race. Realistically, he got a stage win. He made some noise this evening, but it's for no points. These guys are just out here to have fun, grab some prizes if they so make it. And to recap those prizes, boy, there are a lot on the line, I gotta say. Let's go through them all, as the race winner will grab a free t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing, as well as $250. Second place, though, grabs that same t-shirt with $100 to boot. Third place, then, they get that same t-shirt. You're noticing a theme here from Fort Worth Screen Printing, but third place also gets $50. So, whereas the NASCAR All-Star Race winner usually gets the $1 million check, everybody else, well, you're going home, unfortunately. It's usually checkers or wreckers. In this race, it's a little bit different. $250 for the winner, then $100 for second, and $50 for third. Then, the best paint scheme, it's likely going to be that 2-car Billy Stanley we found out. But hey, there is still time to vote. Time is not over. You can still make your vote. If you're watching this broadcast, put in your vote. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. In the chat, comment the number of the car that you like best, and they've still got a shot to win Best Paint Scheme, which gets them a free butt kicker or sequential shifter. That could be vital for any sim racer. The poll winner, that was Charles Johnson. He grabs a free t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing, as well as the driver with the fewest incidents who will grab a free t-shirt. As we found out earlier, we gave 5 random fans a free t-shirt 5 random fans that voted for their favorite paint scheme in this field, they will get a t-shirt from Fort Worth Screen Printing, and 4 random drivers will have a shot at those other butt kicker and sequential shifter devices. Down the backstretch, double file, ready to go at it one more time, Cole. 11 laps to go.
Yeah, and I think this is when we're going to really see the attrition rate ramp up. We've had plenty of cautions tonight, but we might see just a couple more before the end of this one. And I'm really interested to see who's going to get the fewest incidents in this race. I think a guy like Charles Johnson might be in the running for that.
Certainly, I think everybody that's still on the lead lap has a shot. Even those guys that are maybe a little ways behind. Kevin Freeze 1 lap down. Even Anthony Bledsoe 2 laps down. They've got chances. Everybody is still in this race. Bledsoe can get a couple of cautions to go his way. Can grab a couple of lucky dogs, get back in this one, and suddenly we could be talking about that 18 car winning this evening. He got a t-shirt earlier. Maybe he can grab a race win as well. Pace car back down to the safety of pit lane. Sadusky, the race leader, will turn things back over to Sadusky and Barty, the flagman, waiting on that green flag. And the green flag drops. We're back at it for 11 laps at the iRacing Super Speedway in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race. Out of turn number 2, Sadusky holding strong on the bottom side, but here comes Wellen. He wants that lead back. He's got a big run with the help of Anthony Poston. To the top side go the 11 and 31, that Toyota Supra with the Good Smile colors. Clear to the race, pushing the race lead. Race leader now is Greg Wellen. You got it. Greg Wellen takes the race lead and Poston along with. There we go.
Yeah, Poston now tucking in behind Greg Wellen there. You see Donald Sadusky still up front in the chrome and purple, number 19. Remembering Ryan, I believe, is the sponsor on that car, and he's going to look now to the outside. No help, though. You see Charles Johnson now got a big push from Hilton Young, we talked about earlier.
Hilton Young somehow still in this race. Let's ride on board with him now as well. There he is in the 8th. No, he keeps dodging us. The one car going backwards. He drops out of that top 10. He's now into 11th, letting those guys mess with it themselves. There goes Bledsoe. There goes Hound Dog. Those guys getting back in it. But up front, Greg Wellen leading the way down to turn number 3. Will come out of turn number 4 this time by Cole, and it will be 9 laps to go. The final 10% of action here in the Pit Stop Premier Series Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race is officially underway at the iRacing Super Speedway.
You see the Elvis cars working together on that very high line. That's almost the Hodenshield line if this was on dirt. But Randy Bledsoe now pushing Hound Dog to the outside. Looks like Jerry Johnson a little bit loose. Going to slide up, nearly collect Randy Bledsoe, but everybody keeps it straight, and it's going to be interesting if those two cars can get up there on that very high line.
3 wide through the middle of the pack. Jerry Johnson in the middle, Sadusky in the middle, several cars inside and out, and they're just trying to get through the final 9 laps here. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on Pit Stop TV. A last-minute correction over to our channel, and we thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. 8 laps to go this time by Wellen, the race leader. Poston, he's trying to figure out whether to keep pushing that 11 or whether to take a shot around the top and try to hang on. I think if you're a driver in this field, Colt, you've got to wait.
Well, I think you got to wait, too, but we're riding on board with the new contender of Jeffrey Clifton. We have Jerry Johnson back there. I almost got a little bit confused there. He's pushing Troy Radford, who we've talked about him at some points tonight, but not much up front. Those two are going to try to work together. A couple of Fords working the outside.
Yeah, Clifton trying to give a shot there to Radford, get that 94 car going. Radford's been in the mix a couple of times, but unfortunately, every time he gets up there, something happens to the 94 machine. One car way up high, that's the 84 of McNeese. He keeps things in control. Now to the outside of Hound Dog, and he will go backwards. 7 laps to go this time by. We keep coming to you with side-by-side action from 4th, 5th on back. Radford now in the line on the bottom side. The whole bottom stacks up. Look at them accordion. Here comes Clifton up side-by-side with Donald Stewart for 3rd.
We almost saw Troy Radford hook the 09 there. That got very scary because Charles Johnson came off the bottom of the racetrack. You now see the 78 in the mix. Running a little bit lower, but the 31 is just shoving the 11 out front here, and we now ride on board with the second of the 2 Elvis cars riding that high line. That's Randy Bledsoe.
And Bledsoe thinks it's now or never for the Elvis machines. He wants to get going. He wants to put them, well, one of the 2 at least, in victory lane. Give it a big shot to Billy Stanley. Gets him sideways. Is he going to go 4 wide? No, he sticks him behind Clifton. Look at the checkout. That is teamwork between Stanley and Bledsoe. 3 wide across the line. 6 laps remain.
Lynn McNeese now in the group. Whoa, slides up just a little bit. Lynn was coming with a huge run, almost made it 4 wide. Decided to think better of that. Jeffrey Clifton now getting shuffled back along with the Elvis cars. But how about Donald Sadusky to the outside now? Can he get clear going into turn 3?
It's an American trilogy up front between the 3 Budweiser-themed cars. A couple of them going at it up in the top 10. The 81 is still in things. That's Bledsoe, but the 11 leads. That's Wellen. So two different tails from the front to the back. 5 laps to go across the line. Cole, anything could still happen. It's way too early to call anything, but maybe Poston goes 4 wide. No, he gets back in line. We still don't know anything about the way this race is going to finish as Sadusky takes the lead. Hard in the wall goes Hilton Young. Oh my gosh. Charles Johnson involved. We stay green flag. Look at the 09. There we go. Caution flag out.
And there goes the face finally. It's the beard's a little crunched up.
It's still there. It's just, you know, it's there.
Need some dental work.
Yeah, you know, it's not looking the greatest right now. He's looking a little bit torn up. In that number 1 is Hilton Young. Let's go on board and find out what happens to him here. It looks like a problem for Charles Johnson on the inside potentially, and this one car just gets blindsided. There it is. Oh my gosh.
We talked about the Johnson and Johnson combo. It looked like Charles got a little loose, got up into Jerry, and Jerry just shot into the wall.
So we'll see what happens then for the Johnson and Johnson combo down to the inside of turn 1. Here's Charles Johnson in the 09, and somewhere in all of this, we'll see the green 37 rear itself back in it. You see him back there, the green 37 of Jerry Johnson. So something then going to happen in turn number 1, I dare say. Maybe not quite. Who knows? They check up on the bottom side. That's where it starts up. And then the 09, I think, just gets loose. And, yep, up the racetrack and into Jerry. And look at that.
Now, based on my experience from the Nork race, I would say Charles maybe just turned into the corner just a little bit too soon, and that unsettled the car. And that's so easy to do here because you can just misread how the banking goes. Because if you're on that very bottom line, it's different from if you're a little bit up the track because it's just like you're basically dropping off one hill into another hill.
A lot like the landing at Dover into the banking into turns 1 and 3. I think that's the best comparison. We're right on board here with Derek Paulson at the turn 1. You see everything that's going to happen ahead of him, and you see that landing kind of like at Dover. I'm amazed the 61 of Mitzler and the 6 of Paulson get through that. That's incredible. Oh my goodness.
Paulson might need a lottery ticker after that one.
And a new pair of shorts.
Yeah.
Certainly cleaning down south.
Definitely get some new laundry to this man on pit lane. But yeah, that's what I call a lucky break. And some days you're lucky and some days you're good. That's the case of both right there. He read that perfectly.
I talked about the American trilogy. If you haven't noticed, these are all Elvis puns, but that 25 of Freeze, that Budweiser machine, he's back on the lead lap, just took that lucky dog. He's back in this, which means he has a shot to win this race. It looks like we're headed to overtime here at the iRacing Super Speedway. This time by will be 2 laps to go. That should extend this race for at least one shot at an overtime finish. While I quickly review the rules just to make sure we've got some overtime finishes, Cole, I got to ask, who's your pick on this restart?
If I had to pick one, I honestly would look for the Elvis combo because that's a 1-2 punch that's been working solid all race. They've had the tandem going, just not the right line. And I think we could see some guys like Jeffrey Clifton, who we haven't really mentioned all night long, slip up in there. But I think it's definitely going to be between either the Elvis cars or the 1-2 punch up front of Donald Sadusky and the 11 of, I got to remember his name here real quick, Greg Wellen. I believe those two are also the strongest in the field right now.
Well, while we have this chance under caution flag conditions, what do you say we grab one more driver to speak with before we wrap this one up? It's somebody that's made a lot of headlines throughout this race already. It's going to be that number 81, that white number 81. You've liked that car so much, Cole, we're bringing Randy Bledsoe to you.
Yeah, Randy Bledsoe in the number 81 machine. Beautiful race car there, Randy. What's going to be your game plan here coming to the last restart? Randy, you got a copy with the booth.
Yeah, I got you, man. I barely can hear you.
All right. Well, if you can hear us enough, Randy, how's the car feeling?
All I know is to find a hole and go to it, man.
All right. Well, I believe that's a good way to call that, as we're getting ready to go green here, Andrew. So might need
I barely
to
can hear y'all because y'all's volume's turned down.
Well, Randy, we appreciate you. If you can't hear me, buddy, best of luck to you. Go get them. I guess Randy having some difficulty hearing us there in the number 81. You know what? It is difficult. You would know just as well as anybody else here, Cole. It's difficult. You've got your motor sounds turned up. You got your engine, your FX sounds turned up in the sim. It's tough to hear things. It's really tough, especially to hear through TeamSpeak and Discord sometimes if you don't have those volumes turned up ahead of time. So can't blame Randy for not hearing us. It's really tough to have those levels all set perfectly where you can hear everything. And even so, it's really tough to manage all of those levels. So we do want to thank Randy for giving it his best shot there, and we'll see what he can do on the inside of row number 5, coming to what might be the final restart. You see, extended to 91 laps. We are in overtime at the iRacing Super Speedway. It's the best way to do things on a super speedway, a hyper speedway, if you will. We're coming to an overtime finish, a green, white, checkered at the iRacing Super Speedway in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race. Waiting on the green flag signal from Barney the flagman. He waves that green flag and we are off and away. The sun beating down, the cars back up to speed out of turn number 2, side by side through the entire field they go. Sadusky up to block, he blocks that 11, 3 wide now. Wellen doesn't stay in line. It's a whole big chaotic mashup down to turn 3, 1 on the apron, Paulson down low, contact, he takes it, no, the Hound Dog pays it back. How about that for return to sender? Now contact McNeese in trouble.
Bledsoe, huge hit. We tried to get a word with him, couldn't. Another Bledsoe in there. Both Bledsoes now crashing together. The 6 of Derek Paulson, and we're going to have another restart to decide who gets the 250. DJ Mitzel in this as well. I believe we have a second incident because we've got cars wrecked all over the speedway.
That's what it means to these drivers. They've got to try everything they possibly can. They all want $250 plus bragging rights here at the iRacing Super Speedway in the Fort Worth Screen Printing All-Star Race. See, they went 3 wide down the back into turn number 3, and that's kind of where this all starts. Paulson down low of the 2, and that, I think, was a bit ill-advised, but hey, Derek made it work for a moment. He ends up getting turned, and then McNeese gets loose. He collects Radford, and then, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, Bledsoe, just out of nowhere, Randy Bledsoe in tons of trouble.
You know, I believe Troy Radford actually got the best end of that deal because it looked like he just spun for the most part, but Randy Bledsoe, we talked about him earlier, getting the lap back, coming back through the field, and that's just unfortunate way about it. He's going to get another replay here from up top. You see, everybody splits that number 19 down Sadusky. Maybe a poor block on his part. That got him shuffled just up in front of the chaos. I think he actually got around the chaos because of this. And you see the 2 going to the inside there. They actually, well, Derek Paulson got loose afterward, but everybody just went spinning there. You see Kevin Freese getting a bit of it. And it looks like Glenn McNeese also spinning again off of turn 4.
It's so hard to keep up with all of it that just happened. I mean, we had action in every kind of angle in a turn number 3 and 4 that time by. Let's ride on board from somebody who was all the way in the back of this, Ray Radford, the other Radford in the show. If you know what, I like number, I guess, coincidences, whatever relation you can find with numbers. What's interesting to me, Troy Radford of the 94, Ray Radford here on the 47. 47 is half of 94. Anyways, into turn 3, you see all of it happen in front of him, and at some point here at the end, he blinks out for a moment for us, but he's going to end up getting a massive piece there of Anthony Bledsoe.
Well, unfortunately, Anthony Bledsoe, the reverse number of the 81 of Randy Bledsoe, they both tangled in that wreck together, unfortunately, but that's quite a few cars. Kevin Freese now out of the race, unfortunately. So the Darrell 1984 throwback will not go to victory lane tonight, but it is another Budweiser throwback that could go to the front in Greg Welland.
So a lot just happened to shuffle up this field. If you're wondering, Hound Dog is still in this race, but he is down in position 14. He's got some damage, maybe. We'll see as he comes by our camera. No, that 2 car is clean. There's a good look at Elvis on the hood of that number 2 car. So he's still in it. Derek Paulson, he is in pit lane. A lot of damage. He's got no nose, I don't think, on his car. There's Troy Radford of the 94. Looks like he had one more fast fix. DJ Mitzel is still in this thing. Ray Radford looks like he had a fast fix as well. Charles Johnson is still in it. So a lot of great guys still in this race. There is Doug Johnson. We haven't talked about him in a while, but that number 3 car is still in this race, sporting that orange spoiler on the number 3 Chevrolet Camaro. There you see Jerry Johnson on the 37. So a lot of guys still in this race that maybe you wouldn't expect, but they are here to fight for $250. We will extend this race one more time, it looks like, to 94 laps, and we'll see if we can get it done this time through.
Yeah, hopefully we can finally get it in this time. Greg Welland still going to be your leader. Anthony Poston to his outside. Donald Stewart third. Donald Sadusky still up there as well. But yeah, like you said, there's guys that we have not talked about that could get it done. And there's even guys in the back that have probably saved up their fast repairs. Like, we still got Hound Dog back here. We got Lynn McNeese back here as well. I believe, well, we're thinning on cars here. Ray Radford, honestly, he could get the job done all the way from the last spot, currently on track. Can we make it to the white? That is the big question. Anthony Poston pretty much put the proverbial hand out the window there for Donald Sadusky to start pushing him on that restart. Greg Welland in the running here. He's going to look low. Can't get it yet. We're coming to the white flag, Andrew, and it's still anybody's race. Trouble in the back. And look at the 15 all the way on the outside. Jeffrey Clifton going for it. He's got Troy Radford pushing him down to turn 3 now. The 31 still in the lead of this race. What does Clifton do? Will he even have a run? Greg Welland looking. They're getting sideways back behind there on board with the 61. And Andrew, they're coming to you. By 3/1000ths of a second over DJ Mitzel.
Now, I do gotta mention, you heard half of that call. Somewhere in the excitement, I don't know where, Cole, but I muted my mic. I promise that was a great call to the end. Greg Wellen takes the win. Puts the Dale Jr. Josh Berry, number 11, in victory lane. 3 wide. I mentioned at the top of the show, we could see 3 wide, much like the inaugural Daytona 500 way back in 1959. We saw it again. 3 cars abreast across the start-finish line, and Greg Wellen wins it.
Yeah, Greg Wellen with an awesome move. They pretty much both went. I think they split the 31. I don't really remember. I was too excited because that was just an amazing finish. And how about that? A car that won, or it's based on a car that won the 2001 Pepsi 400 in spectacular fashion, wins the 2021 Pit Stall All-Star Race presented by Fort Worth Screen Printing in just absolutely spectacular fashion. As he's trying to get it to burn out right now, he's going to park it backwards on the front stretch.
He's got some damage in that number 11 car, but what a finish, ladies and gentlemen. Are you not entertained? Oh my goodness, what a finish. Thank you so much to the Pit Stall Premier Series and to Fort Worth Screen Printing for having us along for the ride. Greg Wellen is now $250 richer just by winning an amazing race at the iRacing Super Speedway. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage right after this.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome back to the iRacing Super Speedway. What a finish we were just witness to, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you get it done at the iRacing Super Speedway. Now we get to talk to the drivers, the guys who made it all happen. We're going to lead off with, of course, our race winner, Greg Wellen. What a finish. It came down to he, DJ Mitzel, and Anthony Poston. But Greg, you came out on top of it all. We talked to you a little while ago, sporting that Josh Berry paint scheme, putting it up front, and putting it where it belongs in victory lane.
Woo! Yeah, that was fun. Finally, after all those caution laps, which I'm sure were lulling you to sleep, we put on a heck of a show for the finish. That was pretty cool.
I gotta say, quite the opposite, my man. It was exciting through and through. Even when we had a few cautions back to back, there was always some kind of storyline to follow. And at some point, we even mentioned somehow year 11 was back in it. We couldn't count you out. I remember it because I fumbled over my tongue about it. And you put the 11 in victory lane. How did you do it in those final restarts?
Honestly, Todd Poston and I just worked really, really well together. Like I told you in my interview, find somebody to work with. And he got on my bumper and he worked with me. And then I told him before that last restart, I jumped up to his channel. I said, hey, if you get pushed in front of me, I will get behind you and I will push you. You know, it's all bets off the table coming off a 4, but you got a buddy in me, dude. I'm not gonna leave you hanging or make a stupid move. So I gotta give a lot of credit to him working with me. I really appreciate that.
Now, buddy, of course, this is our first time covering you guys here at the Pit Stall Premier Series. What has it been like this season? I noticed on the schedule you guys rotate between Cup Series cars, Xfinity Series cars like this evening, and the trucks. What has that dynamic been like this season, and where do you see yourself going in the final 9 races?
So the dynamic is pretty cool. You got to be on top of your game. Like, I'd never driven the Xfinity car or truck until I joined this series. So they forced me to get good at it. It makes you just be a well-rounded driver. Normally the races aren't as caution-filled as this, but this is a super speedway. I mean, this is what happens here. This is perfectly normal. As far as the final 9 races, man, I know Derek didn't get a chance to show what he does here tonight, but that guy is lights out week in and week out. He's been handing my butt to me every week. So hopefully I can find a good groove and get up there and challenge him for the points championship.
Well, buddy, you come in 2nd overall in the points. Best of luck to you the rest of the season. There's a whole lot racing left on Max Speed TV. Can't wait to see how you do, buddy. Who do you have to shout out? Who do you have to thank now that you're $250 and a t-shirt richer?
I know. This is cool, man. I got to thank my family. I got to thank the Inland Empire Redbirds, but that $250, I wasn't expecting it. So there's Zoe's Place Child Advocacy Center. And they're in Indiana, and they help severely abused children, with whether it be with counseling or even protective services. A portion of my winnings is definitely going to them, and they're a good group. Anybody listening, Zoe's Place Child Advocacy Center, Hancock County. They have a Facebook page. They have an Instagram page. Check them out. $10 donation goes a long way for this group, and it's an extremely good cause.
Wow, what a class act. Even in this moment of triumph, buddy, that is amazing to hear that you're giving back to such a fantastic foundation. Shout them out one more time for us.
Zoe's Place Child Advocacy Center, and when you look them up on Facebook, it's Zoe's Place Hancock County Child Advocacy Center.
Wow, that's really incredible. That's really humbling to hear. Greg, congratulations this evening. That's awesome that you're giving that away. Live it up. Enjoy this one. Have a fantastic evening and party hard, buddy. Party hard. Enjoy it.
Will do. Thank you, guys, and thank you for having me give a second shout out to that group. I appreciate it, but thank you guys for your broadcast.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the fantastic show there at the end, Greg. Congratulations, buddy. Can't wait to see how you do. Greg Wellen wrapping things up from the iRacing Super Speedway. I've never been hit with that kind of thing. To hear that he's donating a portion of the winnings to Zoe's Place, that's incredible. That is a class act right there in Greg Wellen. I don't know how DJ Mitzel's going to follow that one up, but we're going to give him to Cole Freilich and see how he does.
Yeah, that's a tough act to follow as we get DJ Mitzel in here. DJ, you were 3/1000ths of a second away from $150 more than you've already won. Is there anything you could have done differently on that last lap?
Probably not. I was, 9th, 10th going into that last lap, and little wreck happened between the 37 and 78, so it kind of gave me the bottom, and Todd's my teammate, so I figured, all right, I'm going to jump down to the bottom, try to push that bottom line. That bottom line got clear, and Greg went high, and I got such a run, I just decided... I told Todd on TeamSpeak, I said, I'm not pushing you, I'm going for it. And I thought I had it with the way Todd was chasing him up the track like that. I thought I was going to get it. Man, that was close. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Well, Greg kind of left you a tough act to follow after announcing what he was going to do with his winnings. But any plans for yours, or any plans just for the future of how the momentum from this race will carry forward?
I guess I don't have any immediate plans for winnings. I guess I wasn't really thinking I'd get winnings. It's kind of a luck of the draw type thing in these type of tracks. I honestly, just being in the place I was so lucky. So, I don't get to run a lot with these guys. I love running with the pit stall guys. It's a great group. But yeah, I get in here as much as I can. We got some really good drivers. Like Greg Wellen is as good of a driver as I've seen. So basically, I just try to keep up with him if I can.
Well, speaking of keeping up with people, how about keeping up with people? You got a shout out. Who you got to thank for tonight's run?
Yeah, I guess I just want to thank all the pit stall guys, Sean and Tim and Dave for putting this on. Luke Gray's always helping out. Thanks to my teammate Todd for running with me, and Derek Paulson, he was running with me tonight. Other than that, thanks to my wife for letting me get off on a Saturday and do my passion.
All right, well, DJ, we thank you for joining us up here in the booth, and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thanks.
DJ Mitzel wrapping up a fantastic run there in that 61 car. We saw a lot of them, especially there in the later runs. New Nest Realty LLC aboard that 61 car and taking it to a podium finish. But it was this guy, Todd Poston, Anthony Poston, whatever works for you. He was in a postal code of his own, and Todd Poston, buddy, what a run out there. That 31 Good Smile Toyota Supra was looking good. It was running good, too. Tell us about those final couple of restarts.
Oh, they were nerve-wracking there at the end. It seemed anytime you started on that outside line, it was a crapshoot whether you're going to make it through 1 and 2.
It was certainly a wild one, and we had a race here with the Xfinity cars not so long ago in a separate series. We kind of learned a little bit about what we could expect, but when it comes down to an all-star race, suddenly everything is out the window. Everything changes. As a regular driver of the series, what changed for you? What dynamic was different this evening in the Fort Worth screen printing all-star race?
Well, of course, I mean, anytime you put money on the line, people are going to drive a little bit different, a little bit more aggressive. Points seem to make them drive aggressive, but anytime you throw money on top, it's just going to bring out the most aggression in people.
Certainly, aggression was one of the names of the game, but you made everything work out. Not quite for the race win, but with 13 laps led, you finish on podium. Does this help you at all? Maybe just a little bit of a morale boost for the rest of the season? I mean, I know you can't take anything you learned from the iRacing Super Speedway and apply it to Iowa, for example, the next race up, but still, something's got to translate, even just some momentum a little bit.
Oh yeah, anytime you get a good finish in this league, it's a little bit of momentum. Anytime you beat any of these guys out here, it's awesome.
Well, buddy, it was a fantastic one. Thanks for helping us get on board with this as well. It was a fun one this evening. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out from the iRacing Super Speedway?
Oh, definitely got to thank Greg there, pushing at the end. He did what he had to do. That was fun. We kind of talked before, and we kind of said we'd race out. Whatever happened coming off forward. Then I got to thank DJ Mitzel. He's my actual teammate in the league from 3 Wide Motorsports.
So a couple of different alliances there at the end. It works out for you, buddy, though. The top 3 is nothing to scoff at. That's $50 and a t-shirt. You can't beat a t-shirt, certainly. The 50 buckaroos to go on along with, that's got to feel pretty good, buddy. Congratulations this evening, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Amazing broadcast, guys.
Thank you so much for the kind words there as well. Todd Poston grabbing a 3rd place finish. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff through and through this evening. Cole, I've not shown up to a random race. I say random. It was special for these guys and certainly special for us. But I've not shown up to a brand new series, a brand new race, and brand new drivers like this and ever been so amazed. This was fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it lived up to the expectations because iRacing Super Speedway, one of the craziest tracks there is on this service. And shout out to everybody in this league and Fort Worth Screen Printing for see them in the bottom right corner of the screen there. Shout out to them as well for supporting this series because this is a great group of guys that we had the pleasure to show to you tonight. And I definitely think these guys are one of the best series in terms of just letting us come in and being so gracious to us to broadcast our event tonight.
And if you're looking to order from Fort Worth Screen Printing, do so at FW FWSP Design. So that's Fort Worth Screen Printing, each first letter of that, FWSPdesign.com. That's where you can order from Fort Worth Screen Printing. You might even be able to order one of these shirts that these drivers and fans are getting this evening. We can tell you that the driver that won the paint scheme vote was, of course, Hound Dog, and that 2-car, Billy Stanley, won the best paint scheme vote. We actually got to find out real quick who wins the extra four prizes. We're going to grab David Cox one more time. Hey, David Cox, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, buddy, we know who the 5 fans getting t-shirts were. We know who won the paint scheme vote. Who are our other 4 drivers getting a prize in this race?
Well, we've got a random draw here. We got Anthony Poston takes a prize. Ray Radford takes a prize. Luke Gregg gets a prize. And Jerry Johnson gets a prize.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, adding to the specialness of this race for these drivers. Some of these guys already getting prizes. David, can you read that out one more time? Who's getting those 4 prizes?
Anthony Poston, Ray Radford, Luke Gray, and Jerry Johnson.
Thank you so much, David, for that. Thank you for your help all night long. Certainly could not have done this to this level without you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate both you fellas broadcasting tonight. Actually pulled us out of a big hole we fell into.
Yes, sir, and we're glad to have been here. It was a fun one. We got to thank you. We got to thank Fort Worth Screen Printing. We got to thank the PitStop Premier Series for having us along for the ride. Let's go ahead. Let's look through our unofficial as they stand race results for the moment here, Cole. Finishing first, of course. We talked about it. Greg Wellen in that 11 car takes the win by, look at that, 3/1000ths of a second over DJ Mitzel. Incredible finish. Anthony Poston comes up third. Donald Sadusky takes fourth, and Jeffrey Clifton in fifth.
Troy Radford, the first of the 2 Radfords on the board here, comes home sixth. Doug Johnson going to be seventh. Ray Radford in eighth, and then the second of the 2 Johnsons. And rounding out the double names here, we got Charles Johnson in ninth. Oh, actually, I correct that. We got 3 Johnsons, so a trio of Johnsons. Jerry Johnson in 10th as well. And I believe we got the other half of the field. Actually, Ray Radford, one of those, I believe, coming home with a shifter or butt kicker. You see Hound Dog getting 11th, winning the fan vote tonight for Best Paint Scheme. Donald Stewart 12th. Lynn McNeese 13th. Derek Paulson, one of the strongest cars out there tonight, 14th. Kevin Freeze in 15th. Luke Gray, another one of the winners, in 16th. Randy Bledsoe in 17th. Anthony Bledsoe, rounding out the Bledsoes, in 18th. 19th, Hilton Young with the face on the car. Going to need some work to get at the shop next week to get that car ready. And Daniel Holloway, your stage winner, is 20th. And then rounding out the field is Sean Wilder in 21st and Richard Suddeth in 22nd.
It was a hardcore battle to the finish. That was the finish. What do you say we watch this back here, Cole? I gotta find out exactly how this one went. Let's watch from high above. This is that final lap one more time, ladies and gentlemen. This is across the line. This is the white flag, 1 lap to go. So you see Greg Wellen, he's second, pushing Poston across the line for the white flag. Then suddenly this 19 car gets a big run on the outside. He's got help from Clifton, and it's a battle down to 1 and 2.
And you see DJ Mitzel back there. You see the 2 cars go crashing back there. That's how Charles Johnson was not in the running. But DJ Mitzel, the last car in this pack, and I mentioned it, you kind of just want to lie back and get a huge run. DJ works with Greg and with Todd, or Anthony, however you prefer to call him. But they go down into turn 3, a trio of race cars right there, and when they come off turn 4, you're going to see an almighty split. Ooh, the 19. Wow, what a save there. That pretty much put those 3 out, but this is an absolute split just trying to get to the line.
And across the line, this is how close it is. Mitzel comes on the bottom side, and I mean, 3 wide. It gets no better than that. Maybe you could have gone 4, but that is the margin of victory at the line for Greg Wellen. That's how close it came, ladies and gents. That is what won this 11 car, the race here at the iRacing Super Speedway. A big thank you to our partners here at PitStop TV, of course, Tucson Sound Art, where your picture is your music. Use promo code PitStop TV at checkout for 10% off of your order. You've got exactly now a week and 34 minutes to Father's Day. Grab Dad a present, grab him a gift from Tucson Sound Art. It's a wall-mounted sound art device. What that means is it's a fantastic canvas wrapped around a Bluetooth speaker that plays music, of course. It's a speaker, but it sits on your wall as well. It looks great, sounds great too. Use promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your order. And hey, who knows? Maybe Greg Wellen could take the rest of his winnings and order Pops a brand new Tucson Sound Art device. Maybe even DJ Mitchell or Anthony Poston can grab one. It's a fantastic device. I have one on my wall. I stand by it through and through. I also stand by Race Pace setups, fueling and, well, supplying setups to a lot of the teams in this week's Majors 24 in France. Certainly, Race Pace setups takes you the extra mile and the extra tenth, gets you the speed you need here on the iRacing.com sim, especially in GT3 races and more. They're coping with the new update. A whole lot has changed for those GT cars, but you can still grab fantastic road setups from Race Pace Setups at their Discord link bottom right. A big shout out still goes out to Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com. And hey, Permanent Makeup and Cryo is for dads too. It can help dad get in summer shape and maybe erase some of the effects of that beer belly possibly that he was working on throughout the winter and spring. Make sure to check out permanentmakeupinmaine.com today for more. A big shout out to Whiplash Media, the official broadcast, graphic, and camera provider of PitStop TV. What that means is you can get fantastic graphics like these as well as cameras like these to make your next broadcast look as good as ours. Of course, a big shout out as well to BAM Racing Videos by RaceFan for the racing community. Cole, I gotta ask, final thoughts here from the iRacing Super Speedway.
I just think this was a wild one, and even with how the Nork race went a couple of weeks ago, I think this race was arguably just as wild, if not a little more wild to finish, just as wild as that race was. And got to thank these guys for just once again letting us come aboard last second. Definitely. Well, yeah, I was just sitting around here. You texted me, "Hey, can you do a show tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So glad to be back on the channel, and just a fun race to kind of come back to.
And I certainly got to shout out all of you fans being so great at voting earlier for your favorite paint scheme in the field. And hey, you were watching this evening. You were watching on PitStop TV. You could have watched SRX. You could have watched who knows what this evening. And the fact that you were here watching this broadcast means the world to us here at PitStop TV. Thank you so much for doing so, supporting us, supporting your series and the PitStop Premier Series, and supporting Fort Worth Screen Printing along with all the drivers in this race tonight. Please, please, please follow us here on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. We've got all of our links bottom of your screen. Thank you so much for following along with us, but continue to follow along with us here at PitStop TV. That will do it from the iRacing Super Speedway. Happy to have had you all here for tonight's action. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. I mentioned you got to follow along with us. This is why. Look at the upcoming broadcasts here on PitStop TV. We've got 3 in the next 4 days. We're skipping tomorrow. We've got an off day tomorrow, Sunday, so you can watch whatever you want. But then, Monday evening, you better be right back here on PitStop TV for Cedar Lake with the BRP iRacing Series Pro Dirt Late Models in their Season 2 tour. We're going into race 9 of 13, so we're getting down to crunch time. Can't wait for Joe Donahue to take us through the action at Cedar Lake. Then Tuesday, the Nork iRacing Series. Cole, you'll be right back in action with those guys. Can't wait to see how they do from the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. The Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Yeah, that track that SMI and NASCAR are working so hard to get back on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. We've got it here for Nork on Tuesday, 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be square. And on Wednesday, we've got Sobo, South Boston for the BRP iRacing Series Asphalt Modified Tour, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Before we go, we'll show you those social links one more time. You got to follow along with us here at PitStop TV. We've got so much going on week in, week out. We've got new series on the way. We had this special broadcast this evening, and if you were on our social media, you would have known about it a little while ago and been able to tune in even sooner. Thank you so much for following along with us here at PitStop TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. For myself, Andrew Cardinale, and Cole Freilich alongside on the call this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Have a great night.